Thank you, Kate. Welcome inside BC Place Stadium. The roof is closed as the BC Lions are looking for their first home win of the season, and they'll have plenty of opportunities to do it. 4 of their next 5 games are right here, starting with the REDBLACKS. And the visitors, they are struggling, losers of 3 straight, but they have found some life last week with the debut of Dominic Davis. The REDBLACKS hope they can bump the slump before heading off to the bye week.
Looking at Mike Riley, and the mystery of his right throwing arm is still not solved. A lot of problems before this game, even some consternation about whether or not he's going to start. That is still up in the air. Michael Riley's tough as they come. He's still trying to figure it out himself. Dominic Davis, boy, he pumped some life into the REDBLACKS last week. You got to realize, though, that most of those yards came after the beatdown was in full effect. But, boy, his arm looks strong, and his legs, he's certainly as mobile as ever.
Paul LaPolice told his team they need to do what winning teams do, and -4 in turnovers the last 2 games isn't a winning formula. He told them not even the New England Patriots could win like that. Rick Campbell, meanwhile, returned to Ottawa last week to face his former team, or 2 weeks ago. And with that out of his system, he can now focus on trying to win back-to-back games for the first time this season. Ottawa has won the toss. They have deferred, and they will kick off. Richie Leone kicking it off, and Chris Rainey and Shaq Cooper are both deep to receive for the Lions.
I like to hear that if I'm a Lions fan. That's a lot of firepower back there ready to return this kickoff. Shaq Cooper draws back in the lineup, and I think he's a weapon that's underutilized. Get him some touches. Hey, welcome back, Farhan. Yeah.
Thank you. I was just on a plane yesterday. It was a long trip coming back from Tampa.
I bet it was.
I am
Florida to here.
Hopefully tonight's game is just as entertaining as the one on Thursday night to open the NFL season, as Leone kicks it to Rainey, who takes it at his own 13 out across the 20. Goes to his right. He has some room. Picks up a block. He could go. Leone right there trying to run him out of bounds, and he does. On Ottawa's side of midfield, Chris Rainey with a big run to get this thing underway. He gets it all the way to the 45-yard line.
That's what he does. Get him the football, and he will make magic happen. Boy, he split a hole right here. He turned the corner, and hey, hats off to Rich Leone. Taking a good angle, using that boundary as his friend, and escorts him out of bounds.
2 guys that were former teammates here in BC as Michael Riley gets set to take the first offensive snap of the game. Rainey in the game and motions out to his left to throw to the right side to Lucky Whitehead. Makes a nice catch for a 5-yard gain. Ball thrown a bit behind him, but 2nd and 5 for the Lions.
A real tentative throw, too. You know, we saw Michael Riley leave the field right before team in the pregame warm-up happened. And typically, starting quarterbacks don't do that. You know, he was, I think, getting some extra attention in the locker room. And keep an eye on his throwing motion. Had a good conversation with him about that a couple days ago, and a lot to offer on his moneymaker.
Riley on 2nd and 5 as he gets 4 receivers to the right side, looks back, checks it down to Javon Catoy. Good enough for the first down, about 9 yards on the play before being brought down by Avery Williams.
Yeah, just the 6th catch on the season. Catoy, kind of hard to miss him, right in front of your face. Figs draws in at left tackle. That's music to Mike Riley's ears.
Lions going tempo, no huddle here.
Yeah, we got Shaq Cooper and Brian Burnham. You know what those guys can do. Burnham 20 yards shy of 6,000.
Play action to Cooper, finds Catoy again. Close to first down yards. He breaks the tackle. He's still going inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line. The big body making an impact.
Yeah, a lot of talk about his size, his ability from head coach down throughout the organization. Coming right, Jazz is 6'5", 250. Get out of my way. I'm gonna truck ya.
Brad Muhammad can't bring him down.
My goodness.
Randall Evans also can't. Finally gets down to the 14-yard line. Lions cooking offensively here.
Mike dumping it down, getting a lot of love from his playmakers, making it happen after they catch the ball.
Riley looking to his left, can't find anybody, takes off and runs with it. Gets good yardage on first down before being brought down at the 8-yard line. Williams on the tackle again. Don Unamba also there.
Yeah, we know he can do this. In fact, he's got 55 rushing touchdowns on his career. And He's rushed for almost a little over 3,400 yards in the course of his career.
Williams with a couple of tackles already. He leads the league coming into this weekend with 32.
Yeah, he's a tackling machine.
6 yards in the carry for Riley. 2nd and 4.
Gotta like this. 2nd and manageable inside the red zone.
Looks like the blitz is coming off the left side. They come free, but wide open into the end zone. That is Keon Hatcher with his first CFL touchdown.
Make it happen. Make it happen. Arkansas Razorback fouls the Lions end zone. First reception of the CFL career. A lot of talk about Keon Hatcher. Mike Riley, he sees it right away. People in his face with Nama coming off the edge untouched. Well, he almost like drop kicked it over there to Hatch for his first score of a CFL career.
Gump Hayes looked like he was caught in no man's land there looking for help. But a good drive. Starts with the kick return by Chris Rainey. And no incompletions on that drive. Lions take it down the field to score. And Jimmy Camacho with the PAT. And it is good. Just snuck it into that right upright as Camacho gives the Lions a 7-0 lead. Mike Riley, the only quarterback in the league who has yet to throw an interception, starts off hot.
Wasn't pretty.
Michael Riley 4 for 4 on that first drive.
Yeah, and it's not anything difficult or complicated. It's just an out. He outflanks the cornerback, and Mike Riley really doesn't get a lot on it, but it's thrown with timing. He had to get rid of it. Namba's in his face, and he spots his receiver nicely. That's an easy pitch and catch, kind of a head scratcher if you're Ottawa's defensive secondary. Gump Hayes kind of was fooled on just alignment, period.
Stephen Flintoff with the kickoff to the 6-yard line where Ryan Davis picks it up. Oh, not much blocking there, and he gets lit up.
That's Stephen Charles from Regina, second-year player, saying, that's it. That's all you get.
Dana Levine Jr. with the tackle there.
Dominic Davis, boy, breathing some life in this Red Blacks offense who desperately needed it last week. Like I said, that was after the beatdown had happened, but who cares? They have hope now.
Ottawa first down as they hand off to Timothy Flanders. Runs into a pile of BC Lions defenders.
Yeah, Flanders is back in the lineup along with Anthony Coombs. They expect them to give them some little firepower. And look at these two tackle positions, McGloster and Bushel Beatty. Keep your eye on them because they're going to have to protect Dom Davis. And Flanders and Coombs, firepower added to the offense. See if they spark it a little bit.
2nd and 6 for the Red Blacks. Davis drops back to pass, looks over the middle, and a high ball, which Ryan Davis can't bring down, and he looks to be injured on the play.
Yeah, he landed on his head. His feet and momentum kind of took him there, and he landed the back of his head on that hard turf. And this is a guy they expected big things from today, taking the spot of Devontae Dedman. And oh, he gets TJ Lee comes right up underneath him and throws him on the back of his head.
Yeah, they can ill afford to lose Davis, who's expected, as you mentioned, to fill in for much of what Dedman does. And Dedman, the CFL's leader in combined yards out of this game, 787 yards, if you include all the return game. And, you know, we saw Davis with that one return. And there were questions about Ottawa's weapons coming into this season.
Yeah.
And it's being tested right now.
Yeah, and Coombs drawn into the lineup as well as Flanders are some big additions that they thought they were going to get a lot of productivity out of. Dedman last week in the loss to Montreal, 51-29, he had 326 combined yards, and that's the type of production you're trying to replace.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll find out how the Red Blacks deal with the latest setback. As we went to break there, Ryan Davis was able to jog off the field, and now he's going through an assessment on the sideline, whether or not that's a head injury or a back and shoulder injury. They're going through all of it right now.
Yeah, and let's just hope that He's all right, can recover. Ask him all the questions necessary. Looking after their athlete.
Richie Leone back to punt for Ottawa. Chris Rainey deep to receive. Great start for him in this game with that opening kickoff return. Low snap handled by Leone. Gets away a good punt as he has for most of the year, taken by Rainey at his own 27. Hurdles one of his own players. Gets to close to the 40-yard line before being brought down. But two good returns to start this game for Chris Rainey.
Yeah, he's explosive. Here's a look at the first score. It's what you want when you're playing at home for the second time. This is Rainey doing his thing. I could not believe that he was caught and angled out of bounds there by Rich Leone. Good on to Leone. It's a big boy Catoy. Mike pulling it down. And then here, ball's out. I think it just fooled Gump. I just don't think he thought Riley was going to throw it out there, and then before you knew it, he was out leveraged. 5
plays, 45 yards, 233 to take that to the end zone off the short field. The play action as he's looking for Brian Burnham on the sideline, and they're ruling this one appears to be inbound so far.
Oh my goodness. It was like Mike's rolling out, and I can see the whole play unfold in front of me, and it looks like he's going to throw into like triple coverage, and he spots the ball beautifully. So nothing wrong with his arm and ability to put it and spot it there. Watch Burnham do his thing. Up in the air, got the one in.
That is the 87th straight game with a reception for Brian Burnham, and that puts him 5 away from the 6,000 mark. 15 on that play. He came into the game needing 20. Quick throw this time to Burnham again. Breaks the first tackle before being run out of bounds. Chipping away at that 6,000.
Yeah, he is. It's good to see Burnham getting involved early. Oftentimes this year, it's late in ball games, it seems like, before he starts seeing some action. And you need those veteran receivers to stay locked in, all your receivers, because you may not see the ball for 57 minutes. In the last 3 minutes, you can see it 10 times. And Burnham's getting it early. I like it.
2nd and 8 for BC. They didn't have a long yardage situation on 2nd down on that first drive. Let's see what they come up with here. Riley looking over the middle. Got lots of time.
Get it to him, Mike.
That is Shaq Johnson with the reception. Good enough for first down yardage. Down to the 39, maybe the 38-yard line of Ottawa.
Yeah, and it's, you know, this is a bird's eye view up here. You know, I wish I could have played quarterback up here for 14 years instead of being underneath the center. But Mike, he looks right, and Shaq is out there by himself, and he's flushed that way, and so he picks him up, and easy first down.
A dominant block, too, on that left side by Joel Figueroa that allowed him to escape.
Thank you.
Getting him back in the lineup's a pretty good thing for the Lions right now.
Take that all day, far hand if I'm the QB.
Riley rolls to his right, looking back to the other side of the field. Got another open target. Javon Couture breaks a tackle into the end zone. Touchdown. Back-to-back games with touchdowns against the REDBLACKS for Javon Couture.
Yeah, this is absolutely a well-designed play. Mike Riley's going to move everybody with his drop to the field. You watch him just roll out here. Couture's just dragging and kind of like, don't look at me, don't look at me. And Mike puts it out there where only he can get it. Makes a nice over-the-head adjustment. Breaks the tackle, finds the end zone. Some 6'5", 250 can do for you. Mike Riley knows it. Well, looking good off.
2 catches, 3 broken tackles already for Couture.
Oh, my goodness. You're making that look easy. So Montreal and the headache that they caused them last week, it continues with BC's offensive prowess here early in the first quarter.
Javon Couture with the touchdown as the Lions jump out to an early lead. It took a while for Javon Couture to get onto the field for this team. Last week was finally that day he got to break out because of injury.
Yeah, and you can't take him off right now, but it all starts up front. And you watch Joel Figueroa right here. Watch this left tackle, what he does to one of the best in the league, and Avery Ellis, and he just manhandles him and buys Mike Riley time, and Riley rolls to the right, and Couture just like, don't look at me, I'm gonna tippy-toe over here. And then he makes a nice grab over the shoulder and breaks a tackle, which we've seen like 3 times already today. and he's a man amongst boys right now.
Ryan Davis back in the game, fields that Flintoff kickoff at his own 5-yard line. Good return on the play out to the 28.
That's good to see 15 back out there.
Boy, it's early in the game, but when you're a team whose confidence is reeling a little bit, Ottawa needs a bit of a response. They at least need to get a first down.
Yeah, and for the BC Lions, you did exactly what you wanted to do at home. 2 early scores. Riley's perfect, and you got them on their heels. Defensively, you get a 2 and out here. You just keep piling on. Can't let them get any momentum right now.
Riley 8 for 8 for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns already. Davis with a high throw on that last second down, leading to the big hit that Davis took. Now he's rolling out. Looks like he's got his target, Daniel Peterson, for a gain of about 11 yards.
Yeah, I love the formation. 4 to the field. They got a tight end to the boundary. They fake run. They fake the run to the boundary. Get him out on the corner. Throws a strike to Peterman. Starting defense for BC. Hey, boom, walk him. I like this guy. 2 sacks on the season already. Williams got to be the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. And Keontae Hart leading the back end with 2 picks.
Flanders gets the handoff, his second carry of the game. Muscles his way forward for about 3 yards. Tim Bonner among the Lions making the tackle there.
Whew. That's BC's really excited. Head coach Rick Campbell was really excited about the rotation he's got with his defensive line. Both all 6 Americans rotating at 3 in the middle and 3 on the edge. So going to keep fresh, trying to get after Dominic Davis.
Lions bringing a lot of pressure on this play. Harris with the reception, good enough for the first down of the game for Ottawa. TJ Lee with the tackle.
Yeah, if you don't have your eyes right, you're not going to see this, but you better be able to see it because they're all coming in at you and they're bringing a house. Dominic Davis, watch this. They're just going to collapse. It's like they all got the invitation online and they're all trying to get there, but Dom sees it and he finds Harris. Here's the pressure.
Good tackle by TJ Lee, because if he misses that one, there are not many players left to bring Harris down. He might waltz into the end zone.
It's a good sign.
Davis drops back again. This time another accurate throw to Ryan Davis over the middle and another first down.
Yeah, and he threw that all on because he was backing up, feeling the heat once again and the pressure coming from the BC Lions interior. And here's a look at him. He really never sets his feet. This is a strong arm indicator for Dominic Davis. Puts it on the money with timing. It's good to see him with Steve Walsh as his quarterback coach, and obviously Paul LaPolice as his OC and head coach. Getting some help this year.
Davis under center that time on first down. Looks for Flanders again. You don't see that much in this league anymore unless it's short yardage.
It was like a throwback. It's like, what are you doing? Handcuffing the fleet-footed Dominic Davis from East Carolina, putting him under this center. That's where I operated from 12 out of 14 years I played, basically.
Well, Lapo knew Mike Kelly. Remember Mike Kelly who said, no, we're not going into shotgun. That's a flag football offense.
He's one of my best friends. Yeah, I certainly do. I'm godfather to his daughter, Lindsay Rose. Yeah. Game's changed a little bit.
Davis this time on a designed run, keeps it and gets the first down. Quarterback draw. Nice call there by Paul LaPolice.
Yeah, and you can see it opening up pre-snap with the motion, and so you know you got the right play called when everybody's running the receivers going to the outside. Dominic just sets it up nicely. Oh, he didn't even have to.
Gain of 11, Flanders with the lead block. And we talked to Paul LaPolice about his creativity. That's a creative play right there. And he said, look, it's tough to be creative when you don't get first downs. We need more plays to show the creativity. He's got that on this side.
So he can be second and manageable. Got him, got him, got him.
A wide open receiver down the right side. Ryan Davis for the touchdown. Ottawa back in this.
Hey, that's a response drive right there. And they desperately needed that as an organization. And not just offensively, but everybody on that sideline. It's a little hope. You know, we got explosive capabilities here. Dominic Davis simply looks the defense off and just throws a dime over the top of the shoulder of Ryan Davis. And it's good to see 1-5 back in the field contributing in a big way like they expected.
A 33-yard touchdown As you mentioned, just a huge response drive. I know it's early in the game, but when you're a team that has had some struggles, you don't have that confidence, you need something like this.
Yeah, well executed. You saw a blitz there by Dominic Davis. He read it, put it on the money. He threw a dig right on the money. Quarterback draw. Ran the running game there, keep the defense honest, and threw a dime to Ryan Davis. And to me, that's what he gives you. Giving you hope.
7 plays, 81 yards, just under 4 minutes. The Ottawa REDBLACKS get back in this one. Dom Davis threw for over 2,200 yards in 2019 playing for Rick Campbell. Campbell said it was not a fair evaluation of Davis in 2019 because he was really up against it.
Yeah, and this is a nice route by, switch motion, and he watched a little double move there, a little hesitation over the top. Dom Davis looked to free off just enough and located the ball, and that is exactly what he brings you. Big explosive capability, and they needed that big time right there. Rick, you said Rick Campbell. Well, it wasn't a good evaluation of him in 19. He didn't have an offensive coordinator or a quarterback coach. Yeah. That guy, offensive coordinator Jamie Elizondo, chose to leave the club in a month and a half before the season. Dom Davis, he throws 5 touchdowns and 14 picks, and everybody's all over him saying he's got a turnover problem. No, he had a coaching problem. He didn't have a coach. He was out there by himself, getting out there just out there by himself.
Yeah, he told us there was some moments where he felt sorry for himself, where it really ate at him. He started to second guess, and his quote to us was, who goes through that? Who goes through professional football without an offensive coordinator and a quarterback coach?
Exactly. Mike Riley needs coaching. Bo Levi Mitchell needs coaching. It's extreme unfair evaluation of Dominic Davis. And with a guy like Steve Walsh and Paul Opolice now in that room with them.
Offside. Ottawa, number 90. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
It's huge. Just like it is to have Jordan McSimic with Mike Riley in the room. Coaching him up, breaking things down, going through reads. Yeah, right here, he's going to jump, and it's a pretty easy call. Come on, Cleon. Just a little too anxious.
Sets up a 1st and 5 for the Lions as they now try to respond. Shaq Cooper the carry. Big hole on the left side. And he fumbles the ball. Looks like the Lions have recovered.
Yeah, by the reaction of...
That is Javon Catoy with the recovery, his 3rd big play of the game.
Yeah, he got helicoptered. He bolted through that hole like he had stole something. And he's into the secondary, and then he got helicoptered right about there. Whoa.
Randall Evans with the first portion of that tackle.
Ball security, get it up there tighter. Ooh, that's Randall Evans that stripped him.
Brad Muhammad coming in after to knock that ball out. Now a quick pass to Lucky Whitehead, trying to pick up some blocks. He's got a convoy out in front of him. Still on his feet before finally being tripped up by Gump Hayes. Not before he gets 13 yards and a first down, though.
Oh, that was like running amongst the elephants there. That was Perkins. That was pretty funny. Perkins out front leading the way, and Lucky can't see where he's going. He's like, get out of my way, I can't see. He squirted out of there for a nice gain. Riley's arm looked good on that play, too. The ball got out there pretty quickly, as it has to.
Whitehead came into this game with 28 targets, leading all BC Lions receivers, and 84.8 yards per game, led the CFL. Now it's Cooper again on the carry. Well defended by Ottawa. Micah Awe with the tackle.
Yeah.
Second down Lions.
Yeah, Avery Ellis, he's having it tough with Figueroa at left tackle right now, but boy, Avery Williams, he's a tackle machine in the middle of this linebacking core. I love the linebacking core. You've heard me say it before. And Antoine Pruneau's got his hands full with a very inexperienced secondary that got shellacked last week and taking it again this week.
Riley dropping back to pass on 2nd and 10. Gets flushed out of the pocket, beats one defender, and he has got another Lions first down.
High stepping it with that knee brace.
Bad elbow.
Bad elbow. Just want to and desire here. He feels it.
13 yards for number 13.
Yep, pressure. See it? Big lane. Take it. Uh-oh. Hey. It's just instinct.
That is the old Mike Riley, not just old Michael Riley.
No, he's not old. He's not old. He's got plenty of football in front of him. He keeps doing that, though. His lifeline may be going down a little quicker than he wants it. Oh, he's putting it out
Riley
there.
going deep.
Hang it up.
Has a man. Brian Burnham makes the catch with the flag and a touchdown. Brian Burnham with a tough catch. What else is new?
Yeah, Mike Riley, I can tell you that he would like to have this one back, and he's going to go over there, and he may be buying Brian Burnham a cold beverage after this
Defensive pass interference, Ottawa, number 23. That penalty's declined. Touchdown.
That was routine. Routine for Burnham.
Riley took a shot low right around the knees, which didn't allow him to step into the throw, but he's okay.
Comes with the territory. That's when you lie on the strength of your arm, and he had to there, and Burnham made an adjustment for him. And, boy, we got one explosive play after another.
This is a fun game, Matt.
Yeah, it is. We're not even done with the first quarter. We've got 28 points on the board.
We drew the best game of the week.
We did. Yeah. Maybe this will help keep the boys in the studio awake.
That takes a lot to do that after
And
a third
Kate,
game in a day.
Right? Yeah. There he is. He's all by, yeah, he's right here. And he's just going. It's just like, get it out here, Mike. Get it out here. Oh, I got to make a play. So I'm going to use my back, wall him off, leverage. It's kind of like basketball right there.
And with that catch, Brian Burnham is now over 6,000 career yards. He eclipsed that milestone with style.
He did. Love it. He's involved early. Got a few more to go to get you all-timers, lead there. G-Roy Simon.
Well, he'll probably pass Ray Alexander by the end of the night.
No, I'm not looking
safe.
at Ray.
G-Roy safe.
I'm looking at G-Roy.
Yeah.
I told him that boy named Muhammad
The
ain't
only
have
one
no
with
chance.
5 digits in front of his name.
Yeah.
Ryan Davis fields the kick at the 11-yard line. Gets out across the 30. Davis still on his feet. Finally gets brought down at the 42-yard line.
That's a different kind of athlete there, Ryan Davis, doing that at 186 pounds, because there are some lethal hitters out there on those special teams across the league looking to.
O'Shane Samuels eventually brings him down.
He's fearless. You have to be fearless.
Looks like Jordan Bolio, the injured Red Black right now.
Yeah, Bolio, one of those guys making his living at the special teams. Third-year player from Western, Dwayne Ford. Yeah.
Did Dwayne go to Western?
I think, no, I think he did.
He might. Davis broke a few tackles before he finally got there.
Yeah, it's a nasty place to be there on teams trying to make a living doing that. Plenty of players on the field now do. It's good to see him walking off, kind of limping off. He'll run that off. He'll be all right.
We saw how well Ottawa responded the last time BC was threatening to run away with things. Can they do that here with 20 seconds to go in the first quarter?
Kind of like that tennis match at women's final today. Balls in your court, see what you're going to do with it, unfortunately.
And the Red Blacks hold serve here, 1st and 10 from their own 41-yard line. The handoff to Timothy Flanders has some room on the left side.
Okay.
Before being brought down by Bo Lacombo, close to first down yardage.
Okay. It's nice. That's what you want to see. Keep that defensive line honest. They did that in the last drive. Had a little run in there with Timothy Flanders.
Barring a penalty, this will be the final play of the first quarter, 2nd and inches. They might just go back under center instead of that shotgun thing.
Well, I think he's going under center, but it's a great opportunity for a little trickery. Why not?
And Lapo's been known to do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking, make it happen. Don't burn it here. Get it with your boys have to get it. They're going to burn it. Oh, they're trickery.
Direct snap to Davis. He's got a lot of room on the right side.
I like it.
Easy first down. Nice 10-yard run there for Davis to finish up the quarter. Looked like he was going to be out at one point. Came right back in, and
it's a beautiful thing. You know, why not? You're going to get a third one in that situation. You got to believe. Red Blacks are believing right now. Certainly that guy is. Macarali getting it done.
Matt, they told me scoring was down this year. Clearly the Lions and Red Blacks didn't get the memo.
Clearly, you brought a little some of that Tampa-Dallas game with you here. And we're seeing it right here in the first quarter. First 15 minutes, quarterbacks are almost perfect. 28 points on the board. Absolutely love the response drive. They needed to by the Red Blacks after BC got 14 on the board, and then they just responded right back. You got another one. So absolutely the way I see the CFL being played, and that's big play capabilities, explosive plays, and people responding and keeping the defenses on their toes.
Almost 300 yards of net offense in that first quarter. Mike Benavides and Rick Campbell, the respective defensive coordinators, they're not going to be so happy here.
No, they're not. Davis back in the studio is not going to be happy, but I know Milt is. I think Jim might be as well. Kate, keep those boys in line.
Kate's all about offense.
Crossovers, jumpers.
Timothy Flanders with the carry. Gets close to 5 yards, and you can see Paul LaPolice in this game making a real effort to get the running game going. They haven't had a back so far this year with 100 yards total all season yet.
Yeah, not even close to a game. But yeah, Lapo says, yeah, run game always factors in. He wants to try to establish that, but he wants first down so he can get into his play calling and get his quarterback and his team in their rhythm.
5 carries already for Timothy Flanders for 23 yards, brings him 2nd and 5. And a quick pitch out to Flanders again. Has the corner. Does he have the first down? Gary Peters trying to run him out of bounds. He's close.
McGloster kind of outspaced there, just taking a jog and never got his hands on a defender to help out Flanders. Otherwise, that could have been a big play. Watch McGloster coming out here. The big man's trying to hunt somebody down, but he just passes up on the BC line defender. And Peters says, thanks. I'll make the play.
And with that, we've got a field goal attempt. He's almost 2 yards short. Lewis Ward coming on to attempt the field goal. 48, almost 49 yards.
If you're Bob Wiley, that's the stuff that drives you crazy. You're working that all week long. In space type of blocking, just getting away with the guy. Just put a hand on him. Let the running back follow you. Now you're getting a field goal.
Ward 10 of 11. Just at the edge of his range, and he is wide. First one within 50 yards he's missed. Lucky Whitehead on the return.
Got some room.
He has got some room. Richie Leone there again. Turns, tries to pick him up a little bit later. Lucky Whitehead is going to go all the way. Touchdown. BC Lions, no flags. Your odds are pretty good inside of 50 yards with Lewis Ward, but that was not what Paul LaPolice wanted to see.
Yeah, the guy is almost automatic. He's only missed a 52-yarder this year. Only 10 of 11. That one's just wide left, had plenty of leg. And the blocking scheme on return was flawless.
Paul LaPolice knows all about Lucky Whitehead in the return game. You go back to that 2019 season, and Whitehead had almost 600 yards in kickoff returns. He's been pushing the coaches to let him back out there in the return game, and it paid off there as Jimmy Camacho, now 4 for 4 on PATs, a 119-yard return for Lucky Whitehead. Lucky indeed. The Lions up 28-7.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want. You want this man to come down. He could take a penalty, but he doesn't. He just backs off, and then right there, you wall it off, and then you got people out in front, and Lucky shows some great patience here. Leone's trying to figure out where the hell he's going. He loses his footing. Ward is down. And that's a big escort and parade into the end zone. Would you say it was, Farhan, 119?
119 yards for Lucky Whitehead. Love the cap. A short kick this time by Flintoff. Taken by Ryan Davis. He fakes the reverse before crossing the 30 or about the 34-yard line. And this is not the script the Ottawa Redblacks have authored thus far this season. Early on, they were playing great defense. They were playing great special teams. And it's those two areas that have let them down in this game because offensively, they've done their part.
Yeah, the kind of wheels have fallen off with Mike Benavides' defense right now. And big play, explosive plays, which you're used to seeing in the CFL, have really been non-existent, but they've come to life in the last couple of weeks against the Red Blacks, and Lucky Whitehead's a big part of that. Onyanowski, he's excited, special teams coordinator. He's loving that. Another look at this, as we got some stretching going on in the field. And this is just patience and great execution and discipline right there. Don't clip them. Seal the edge. And then patience, letting everything kind of unfold in front of you, and then using your God-given speed. Lucky Whitehead is in the house. In the end zone.
So the Lions getting it done in all three phases right now.
There's Don Yanowski. He's happy. Rick Campbell's going, oh, yeah, just like you drew it up, coach. Just like you said earlier in the week. It was perfect.
And this early in the game, the Red Blacks now are getting into that desperation mode.
Yeah, they are.
Down 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, there's plenty of football. I mean, it's 13 minutes in the second quarter.
Nicholas Gustav, the injured BC line.
This is where you got to be. This is where Dominic, and I know Lapo's already told him, Coach Paul LaPolice has already told him, look, no 21-point play in the playbook. One at a time. Let's be smart, good decisions, locate the ball, play our game.
Red Blacks 1st and 10. Davis empties the backfield, throws to R.J. Harris. That ball a little bit behind him, falls incomplete.
Yeah, it was. You know, it's simple curl flat to the boundary. The back checking down, trying to hold the wheel linebacker, and that was not a good located football. Gotta settle down, Dom.
And it's those simple throws that he's got to make to take that next step.
And that's what Steve Walsh has been working with. He's been working with all day long in practices. Just location, location, location.
Davis with time, looking deep down the left sideline to Harris again. A great defensive play by Gary Peters.
Man, fifth-year player from Clemson, Gary Peters, he's just kind of laying in the weeds, you know, just in his back pocket. Just press coverage from the beginning, top of your screen. These two is just going to go deep. RJ, let's run. Gary's like, I'm just going to be right here. Then at the last minute, just, oh, I stand corrected. That was just off the hands of R.J. Harris. Peters got in there a little bit late, but I think if he was squeezed at the beginning, should have been a catch. That ball was thrown perfectly.
On a fake right here, Leone with the pass. It is complete for a first down. And that is Evans still on his feet before being run out of bounds, and they needed something.
Yeah, they did. I mean, and they know that. Coaching staff, they've been there, done that, and fight fire with fire. We saw a little trickery on 2nd and 1. And now we're seeing Richie Leone showing off of his gun.
Bobby Dice.
Nice tight spiral. Locates it.
Richie's not just a good punter. He's not just a good golfer. I guess he can throw it a little bit too.
I don't know, man. That was more style points than anything else.
Spiral.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Wish I could throw like that. That's nice. And 11s. Third-year player from Kansas State going, yeah, put me on the offensive stat board.
Davis now in BC territory. The quick pass, this time a completion, and that's Anthony Coombs who's returned to the lineup for this one. His first catch of the game.
Let's go, Anthony. I think this is a guy that can really add some spark to this offense. And well, we saw him in Toronto do that on several occasions, and kind of a bag of all tricks. You know, he's got all the capable. He's right here, number 8, drawn in, Anthony Coombs.
His first catch of the season after missing the last 3 games.
Good spotted ball.
Out 3 games with a hamstring injury. Davis, another quick throw, this time to Davis again. Nice tackle on the field side there by Victor Gamboa, who also returns to the starting lineup for the first time since week 1. Welcome to our viewers from TSN4 who are joining us. Pretty entertaining game here. A lot of points on the board so far. Some special teams returns, lines with a couple of pretty big returns, and then you've also got a nice fake there by Richie Leone to keep this drive alive as Ottawa knocking on the doorstep Victor Gamboa, the injured Lion. Yeah, a little trickery. I think teams are anticipating everything that's been thrown at them. The execution's been high for both quarterbacks, and the coaches have been calling a very fluid, open game. Pressures by the defense, quarterbacks reading it out. Here's a look at what happened on this play. The quick pass, there's Gamboa right there, got low. Seemed like an ordinary tackle. Yeah, about 186 pounds. Oh, right there, little extension. Looks like an interior, what do you call that? Looking at his elbow, his bicep in that area, but it seems to be okay. Yeah. Rub a little dirt on it, let's roll. Hakeem Johnson checks in now to the field side corner spot. Second-year player, where's he from? Dwayne Ford. Saying Farhan. If Lapo goes after him right now, Dwayne's not going to be happy. I'd go after him. You got the right guy, too. Davis, though, looking the other way. Ooh, how about in that? The direction of Davis. Gary Peters right there again. Gary just kind of sat on it. You know, you got to learn, Ryan. You got to get him out of the break. He's just playing there. He never got out of his break. He's breaking on that as quickly as you are. Great position by Gary. We saw defensive backs coach Ryan Phillips right there looking on. Nice play. Yeah, Ryan Phillips loves that boy. He was something else in his day. Lewis Ward on again to attempt a 41-yard field goal this time. Richie Leone with the hold. Kick is up, and it is good. Ward gets it right there as the Red Blacks add 3 points on the board. 28-10, lots of time remaining. This event certainly needs no introduction, a very much a where were you when moment. Matt, I can't believe it's been 20 years since 9/11. Yeah, and we were good right after that, and not so much right now. It's glad to remember it. People that have fallen, people that rushed to the aid of those people that were in trouble, and I'm worried about where we're headed. Shaq Cooper, meanwhile, headed for a 1-yard gain before being brought down. And, you know, it was one of those situations you always know where you were when it happened. The people that went in and showed the bravery they did to save as many lives as they did, even at the expense of their own in many cases. Our tributes to them will never stop, and they'll never be forgotten. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Let's pray to God that we all can come together. For the Lions, Victor Gamboa, who was injured on that play, will not return. Riley, meanwhile, 2nd and 9. He's managed to convert previous long yardage situations. Here he is again. Lots of time. He looks... I love that. That's Hatcher again, right near first down yardage. And you talk to anybody about Hatcher, watching him from training camp. Although this is a first-year CFL player, he bounced around the National Football League for about 3 years. And I love the quick release of Riley. Watch it, nice and tight, shoot it out there. Hatcher high points it, reaches out and grabs it, is aggressive to the football, secures it, puts it away, moves the chains. They say that Hatcher
he may be a first-year CFL guy, but he's a true pro. He can run. Brian Burnham says he can run any route in the tree, and there's something special about him. Mike Riley says, we got to find a way to keep this guy. And they got him, and he's on the field now producing.
With Durant and Rhymes out of the lineup, it's opened up a window for Hatcher. That time, the pass to Brian Burnham. Evans there again with the coverage. Knocks the ball away. 2nd and 10. A first incompletion of the night for Michael Riley.
And Mike's probably going to look at this in the video, and he's got Burnham on the dig, but he's got Katoy coming underneath all by himself, crossing it right there with the trailer about 5 yards behind him, and Riley was just dead set on sticking that dig in there, that 7 route, and it was well defended.
Well, generally, Brian Burnham finds a way to come up with those if they're in his catch radius. Another 2nd and long for the Lions. 4 for 4 so far on 2nd and long. This time a pump fake. Riley taking off and going again. Might be tough this time. He is brought down after minimal gain. And the Lions, for the first time tonight, will be punting.
Oh, man, this got ugly in a hurry. Mike Riley's looking for a headshot, but he may be trying to look for his whereabouts right now because Micah Alway's in the vicinity, and that's not a good thing for any quarterback pulling it down. Here's Alway. Wham! Oh, he just destroyed his own man. Oh,
friendly fire there.
Watch him, watch him. He just explodes into him. Bam! Oh. It gets violent in a hurry out there now. Can't touch.
Flint's up with a kick that's well placed near the sideline. Davis picks it up before being run out of bounds after a short gain and a penalty flag on the play.
That far end. I don't care what they say about you. You're pretty good.
Hey, I caught opening night, so I'll be watching everything on Sunday as well.
Oh, look at that pursuit, huh?
Timothy Flanders. Boom Guachum brings him down from the backside.
That's right, he did. Great pursuit.
You look at this BC defensive line, Matty. Of those 6 players, 5 of them have never played in the Canadian Football League prior to this season. It speaks a lot for Neil McAvoy, Ryan McNaden, and the player personnel staff of the BC Lions.
And the coaching staff to get them up to speed to go out there and doing what they're doing.
They needed a huge rebuild on that defensive line, and so far it looks good. Second and 10. Davis drops back to pass, checks it down to Davis again. Close to first down yardage. I think he's got it.
Yeah, I think he did. That move, that hesitation. Oh, it's just great patience after he caught the football. Kind of quickly. Yeah, he's right here. And watch, he's going to drag right across the middle and just kind of sit there. Freeze, like he's going to run a bang route. Then he comes back over, and then here. Now you see me, now you don't. Move the chains.
12-yard gain. Ben Hladek, the rookie out of UBC, among those in on the tackle. Flanders again, this time. Again, no gain.
Yeah, this is exactly what Lapo's talking about on the Zoom call a couple of days ago. They weren't getting themselves in many second and short situations. Again, facing 2nd and long. You can't make a living in the CFL. We only have 2 downs basically to work with. You don't get it, you're punting.
Ufamba Kamalu on the tackle.
Love that name.
They finally are able to get him back in the lineup. The last time the Lions D-line played a dominant game was that Calgary game. In week 2, they had the rotation. Kamalu's been out since. They haven't been able to be as effective without having those fresh bodies. It's showing there.
First-year player from Miami. Make somebody miss. Get in there. Oh, it's going to be close.
Coombs with the reception. Looks to be about a yard short.
That's right in front of us.
Brought down by Marcus Sales and Jordan Williams.
Yeah, they're sending bigs out already, so Lapo's going for it. He knows 18 down with 5:19 in the half. He wants to go ahead and try to sustain this drive and see if they can get some more points on the board.
Well, it is Lapo. Are we going to see a short run or a play action?
This is 3rd down. I think they're going to try to root him out.
Oh, empty backfield. Quarterback sneak by Davis. Looks like the Lions are right there.
Effort. Oh, my goodness, that extra effort. He kept turning those legs because he found a stone wall at first, and then he found a little tiny hole. Boy, I can't tell you. If you've never been in that, that's not where you want to be. It's not where you want to be. That is just a cluster, man.
And you're not going to put Matt Nichols in as your short yardage quarterback, given his health.
No, you're not. What does Hamilton do now? With Dane Evans down, you know, and they've got Watford. You know, he was the short yardage guy.
Although it sounds like Jeremiah Masoli will be available next week, and if he is, then Watford probably goes back to that role.
That works out pretty nicely, right, when you have that ability. But, yeah, who do you go to in those short yardage situations? You can't take your starter off the field because Matt, I don't think he's healthy, and that's why he's there on the sidelines right now. The guy's won. That's all he's done in his career is win. And he's on the sidelines, but he's not your short yardage type of quarterback.
Mark Corte, the center, injured on the play. That means Andrew Pickett, the third-year player out of Guelph, the only backup lineman listed on Ottawa's roster right now.
Corte better suck it up because they're getting thin right there. Paul LaPolice loves him, too, because he's played all three positions in a short stint, 3 years. University of Alberta product, can do it all, but he's trying to find his whereabouts on the sidelines. And that old line for Ottawa right now has got some real banging to do.
Those quarterback sneak situations aren't just bad for quarterbacks. Davis short arms that, looking for Nate Mahar, almost intercepted.
He almost knew and almost felt the pressure that was really not there because he was on his heels and he threw that like, get off of me. Yeah, he's right here. And Davis, if you can keep your eye on him, on this shot, no, you're going to miss him. Yeah, it wasn't even close.
Yeah, he saw Lacombo there and decided Bahar did to hold up.
Yeah, I think he was feeling the pressure and trying to start blocking for him, and you can't do this, quarterback. Get your eyes right.
Lions bringing pressure again. Open receiver is Bahar this time, and he's got the first down. The third straight second and long play. Ottawa's come up with some very productive yardage on all of them and eventually managed to convert on all of them.
Yeah, and great pressure. Great pressure. Going to see it coming right off the edge here. And then the receiver's just going to run it out. Dominic senses again. He's seeing the field right off the edge. Extra man, unfree, coming free. Spots. You break that tackle, you got a touchdown possibly. That's how difference in winning and losing right there. Get a guy in space, you read the defense and the blitz, get it out in timing and location, break that tackle, back in business.
11-yard pickup from Bahar. Pressure on Davis, and he is dropped.
Losing body parts, it looks like. Stuff's flying all over that melee.
Boom Guachum with the sack. He had 2 sacks.
Coming in.
2 sacks in their last game.
Yeah, this is just pressure. These are fresh guys because, like we said, they're rotating them, and then all hell is breaking loose, and body parts are flying everywhere. And Dominic Davis is going, what the hell's going on?
Lions get to Davis for the first time. Another long yardage situation when we come back.
Coming up at the half, we have Good Mike Riley. Pretty much sums up the Red Blacks season so far. We've got You Got Screwed. That's pretty much all we got. We've been here for 3 games and we're running out of energy, so...
Speak for yourself!
Tune in! Tune in.
They're having fun. They're having fun. Kate is a little tired of probably corralling the boys. They need this one right here.
Draw play to Timothy Flanders up the middle. That's about half the yardage needed before being brought down. J.R. Tamai.
Here comes Lewis. Lewis Ward, another long field goal attempt. This one will probably be from about 51, yeah.
Missed from there earlier.
Yeah, but he's amazing. His percentage is just...
Remember his first year where they always protected him and wouldn't let him kick field goals this long, and his percentage got higher, and certainly his range over 3 years has been expanded since then.
Sets a professional record with 69 in a row.
Ward again, is it going to get there? It does. Just makes it that time.
51-yard field goal is...
Man, that guy's money.
Last 2 drives, the Red Blacks keep chipping away when we come back. CFL on TSN continues next week, beginning with a Friday night football doubleheader as the Stamps take on the Ticats, followed by a showdown between the Argos and Rough Riders. Coverage gets underway Friday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, and keeps rolling all weekend long, only on TSN. And you'll note it's a doubleheader, not a tripleheader. For the panel, we're trying to save you. You're wearing down. 2.5 minutes left for Michael Riley as the Lions take over at the 35-yard line after that 51-yard field goal by Lewis Ward.
Checking the line, 2-3 formation.
Riley looks left, checks it down to Katoy. Had a wide open receiver down the right sideline and couldn't get it there.
That was Lucky Whitehead. On the left-hand side here at X, they switched motion. Riley checked to it and got off from just a half a second before he comes scot-free. And Lucky's in behind the defense going, hello, hello.
On the right side, Shaq Johnson was just as open.
Sometimes it just doesn't go your way.
2nd and 5 now. A big defensive play for Ottawa coming up here. They can't let this get extended. And Riley just misses Johnson on the right side.
Oh, that's exactly what you needed if you're the Red Blacks. 2 and out, a couple of misfires by Riley, and they're off the field. And a chance to, you put 7 on the board here right before the half, 28-20.
Yeah, a whole new game right now.
That's what I'm thinking right now.
That's the first off throw by Riley in this game, and first 2 and out for BC.
Off series. Yeah, just missed a couple wide open receivers in 1st and 10, and then had a 4-1 formation to the boundary, and too cloudy over there, couldn't connect.
Nice kick by Flintoff, which Davis feels at his own 15. Slips as he crosses the 20-yard line.
Looks like you're running on ice. Now, Dominic, you know, this is boy, you work all your life for these situations. End of a half, end of a game, taking your team down, got a timeout, clock stops after every play. Have some patience. Don't have to get it all at once. Play the game.
Davis is 9 for 14, 110 yards. We'll have a look and see if Mark Corte is back in the game at center. Looks like he is. The handoff to Flanders. Still plenty of time left. Not a lot of running room.
Kind of passive. But again, we've seen this on several of the starts of these drives, is trying to establish that run and that line of scrimmage. And Paul LaPolice, true to his word, we're always conscientious trying to establish that line of scrimmage. But good job by Flanders picking up 3.
10 carries for Flanders so far in the first half. That's a big number for the Red Blacks.
Means they have had a few more first downs, which is huge.
Brings up 2nd and 7. Red Blacks taking a lot of time here. Lots of pressure. They get to him. He fumbles. BC has got it. That is Guacham picking it up, getting down to the 1-yard line. The Lions knocking on the door again.
Nightmare on Hastings Street. Oh, man. Right here off the edge, coming untouched, basically around the outside. And
Tim Bonner with the strip sack.
Yeah, just strips it away. Basically untouched around the outside.
Bonner's a player that gives them a ton of flexibility. He came to camp as a defensive end. They moved him inside to tackle, but then they showed right there they were able to put him back on the outside, and he was still able to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, it's just a burst of speed, which he has, and untouched.
I'm trying to figure out the strategy here because they ran there, then you get into a throwing situation after you run the clock all the way down. Were they trying to get points? Were they trying to run the clock out?
Oh, well, that was very passive. 1st and 10 play to Flanders. It only got you 3. Put you in the second, a tough spot. Riley's going down here.
That time, Cleon Lang with the sack.
Yeah, that's what Cleon can give you.
We got a penalty flag. We haven't had a lot of these in the first half.
No, we haven't.
I think this is the second one. There was one that was declined, but we had an offside by Lang earlier. This one looks like it's going against Ottawa.
Yeah, it does. And it'll take Cleon Lang's would-be 34th sack of his career away from him. I think he brings that to the table. I'd like to see more out of that from Cleon.
The sack, it might be a dead ball foul, which would keep the sack alive, and then they enforce at the end.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Ottawa, number 98. Half the distance to goal. First down, BC.
Wow. Avery Ellis with the penalty there.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Yeah, Cleon Lang right in the middle. Rips through. Oh, yeah. Might have been even holding there.
But what happened with Ellis, which was away from the play? He was locked up with Joel Figueroa.
Yeah, I didn't see any extracurriculars going on.
Again, another first down. Oh, an interception! The first interception of the season for Michael Riley.
Wow, that was huge. That's a huge play for Ottawa, keeping points off the board. And that is, what is that, the first?
First of the season for Riley.
Right.
Gump Hayes with the interception. That's the first interception in 2 games for Ottawa. And he just missed Katoy on the slant. Back-to-back off throws for Riley. We saw the one on the right sideline earlier. Hayes should have taken a knee in the end zone here.
Just a cluster right there. A sack by Ottawa, and they get an unsportsmanlike with first and 5. The first and goal at the 5, and then Ronnie throws a pick after a sack fumble by Ottawa. It's like the last minute of play has been pretty ugly, but it's worked out for Ottawa. They just get the ball backed up to their own end with a minute on the clock.
BC still got a timeout, though. So Ottawa's got to get a first down here. The quick pass to Anthony Coombs, who winds up going out of bounds, which stops the clock. Good gain on first down.
Yeah, that's what you want.
So if the Lions can stop them here on a run play, they could potentially call a timeout. Still have a lot of time and good field position.
Yeah, you know, Gary Peters, he's going to play off here, not going to get beat over the top and give up the big explosive play. So those outs at the boundary should be there, but you got to be careful. He's got his eyes turned into them. He's got his back to the sidelines.
Short yardage package. Davis with the attempted sneak here, and he fights again. Looks like he's got the first down. Good second effort by Dom Davis is going to put Ottawa in a much better situation to run out the half here.
Going old school on staying in those short yardage situations and not tapping to somebody on the sidelines. 44 seconds. Get a big play here, somewhere over the middle. Good decisions here by Dominic Davis. Got the arm strength to spot the ball anywhere on the field. Wide side, middle, over the top.
You're intercepted. This should go back the other way. Bola Combo for the touchdown.
Oh, man. Exactly what you don't want to happen. Poor decision.
Should they have run the football there?
No, I say be aggressive. No, it's just that you got to trust your quarterback, and he's still, you know, he looks there the whole way. Bam, eyes turn there. Lacombo says, I'm just going to get off of it, undercut it. He wasn't open. Peters would have got it if Lacombo did. He made up his mind pre-snap, and it cost him. Lacombo says, thank you very much.
Lacombo had an interception called back in the last game against Ottawa. Camacho now coming on as the Lions look to make it 35-13.
Well, Mike Riley's going, thanks, guys. We should have done that.
Certainly bailed out Riley in that moment, no doubt about it.
Yeah. There's Coach. Coach Phillips.
He's had a few of those in his day.
Yeah, he has. Pick sixes, too.
Second interception of the season for Bola Combo.
Pretty much easiest one he'll get. Drop back, get your depth, open your hips, cover the area outside, and undercut everything, and quarterback gifted him.
No question, he stared it down, and that is the play they need Dom Davis to avoid.
Lapo knows it. Yeah. Growing pains. He's got him a coach. Coach will coach him up. In the meantime, Ryan Phillips is coaching up these guys. Dom, he calls himself cool, calm, and collected. Same Dom from 2019, and right there, a couple of poor decisions, untimely as well.
Flintoff with another short kickoff. Davis from his own 16-yard line has a bit of space before being brought down by Adam Konar with 23 seconds left in the half. And Davis has got to find a way to shake this off now.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, now you're going to run it. And go to the house and lick your wounds down 22.
Bo Lacombo is a player who Rick Campbell will tell you he's really athletically gifted. Many coaches have said that about Bo before, but he's playing with a comfort level that maybe we haven't seen from that linebacker position for some time.
Yeah, and they just gave it to him and took it away. It was a really nice job by Lacombo getting a pick six here. And watch how he squeezes the inside receiver. He's right here. He's right here, and watch him. He's going to just drop back here, squeeze it, and then bounce out. Boom. He just hung, and then undercut it to the house.
You know, Ottawa was chipping back into this. They had a lot to feel good about offensively. That's a tough way to go into the half.
Oh, my goodness. It's just sickening.
First final play. Second handoff here to Flanders in a row.
Trying to build trust from your head coach, your offensive coordinator, Paul LaPolice, throwing the football backed up in your own end, trying to get something going, maybe put some points on late in the half and make a poor decision like that. Tough one to swallow.
48 points in the first half of this game. I hope you took the over. Let's send it to the panel.
Just about the pick.
All right, alongside David Sanchez, the coach Jim Barker, and Milt Stegall, and a bit of an ugly one once again for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. And Milt, we were talking about coming into this game, you know, maybe with Dom Davis they'd have a little bit of firepower and maybe it would bring a little life to this team, but it is the same thing each and every week with Ottawa so far.
You pretty much know what you're going to get out of these Ottawa REDBLACKS, and I just want to show a few plays that pretty much sums up their season, puts it in a nutshell. And it's unfortunate that they are in this position. You know, you were hoping for good things, and when you have non-CFL teams, you want some parity. But these Ottawa REDBLACKS are what we thought they are. You know, they're a struggling team. And just talk about a couple of things. This is 2nd and 5. Timothy Flanders. I love Timothy Flanders, but you have to. Why are you going out of bounds on 2nd and 5? Ensuing play, what happens? And this is Lewis Ward. He's usually one of the most reliable kickers in CFL history. But what happens? It's a longer field goal because they didn't get that first down. They missed the field goal, and Lucky Whitehead is very lucky, and he returns this missed field goal for a touchdown. But even more so than that, at the end of the half, the Ottawa REDBLACKS had a chance to go into the halftime on a good note. They just got an interception, but for some reason, and I understand Paul LaPolice, he's trying to get some momentum right there, trying to build up some more confidence in his quarterback.
Right.
No, but you have to understand your personnel. Dominic Davis is not ready for that. I don't think he'll ever be ready for that.
They had 25 seconds left or something along those lines, and they threw curl routes.
They're not getting much out of that.
They threw curl routes. They're going to move from what, the 15-yard line to the 25-yard line?
Yeah.
I don't get it at all. I don't know.
Okay, so look, I understand what we're talking about here. If you're Paul LaPolice, if you play conservative, and let's say you take it. By the way, Mill, with a minute left, he said took a knee or run the ball, and with 20 seconds left after he threw the pick, you said, I'll air it out now. Which one is it?
Well, you come out that second time, what you got to lose?
Anyway, if you're Paul LaPolice and you're running this offense and this team, if you're conservative and you don't try to make things happen, you have absolutely no shot of winning. I understand in this spot you probably should be conservative because Dom Davis he has a propensity to make that mistake. But I also can understand you got to take some shots, you know. No risk it, no biscuit. Somebody says.
Take a shot.
Right, but then you're not going to take a knee.
Don't throw 5-yard hitch routes.
We're not talking about hitch routes. We're just talking about should they have ran the ball and got out of the half is the question.
He should have, because his team had just dodged a bullet. Remember, the BC Lions, they were on their way to scoring, and they get through the interception. So, wow, we gained a little momentum back. Yeah, we're down, but we gained some momentum back. Let's go into this half with this momentum we have.
And if he wants to throw it, air it out.
Of course.
Coach, do we say it? Do we put in Nichols? Are we at that point? I mean, I'm not trying to start. I know you've been, questioning a lot from these two.
I thought it was a poor call. I mean, if you want to throw it, there's no problem with throwing it.
Yeah.
But if you're going to throw it, get it down the field. It just didn't make sense to me to throw the hitches in that situation. It just didn't make sense.
I think if Dom comes out and he really struggles in his third quarter, we'll see Matt Nichols back in the, which is even crazier. I don't understand, but I think we'll see Matt Nichols back in the.
By the way, has anyone noticed that Coach is really good at deflecting questions? Every time you're like an athlete, every time you're just going to something else. Coming up after the break, a fantastic version of You Got Screwed. Cannot wait.
What you're made of.
A wide open receiver down the right side. Ryan Davis for the touchdown.
Desperately needed that as an organization.
Going deep. Hanging up. Has a man. Brian Burnham makes the catch. Brian Burnham with a tough catch. What else is new? Lucky Whitehead on the return. He has got some room. Lucky Whitehead is going to go all the way.
As I say every week, sports betting is very difficult, but I've been hearing from people that over the past 2 weeks, they've been hitting a lot of their bets. But then there were 2 instances in week number 6 that if you made certain selections, it went off the rails.
You always hear about bad beats in sports betting, but it's only a bad beat if you're on the losing side. So there's 2 sides that aren't feeling good about what happened at the end of this week's games. First, the Argos games. If you had the Hamilton Tiger Cats, it was a pick-em. They're down 7. All of a sudden, Nick Arbuckle throws an ill-advised pick. Bad tackling from the Argos there. The Ticats tie the game. If they make a simple extra point, they missed the extra point. The Argos win. If you had the Ticats in that situation, you probably shouldn't have won the game, but you feel like you got screwed.
Now, we know the under has been hitting a lot this season, and over in Edmonton, it looks like it was going that way, and all of a sudden, chaos.
This right here, you could play 1,000 football games, and in this scenario, 999 times, the Calgary Stampeders are run out in the field and take a knee. They're up 2 scores with 16 seconds. They bring their MOP quarterback out and they throw a Hail Mary, a bomb, 50 yards for a touchdown. They're up 2 scores. Is this bad sportsmanship from head coach Dave Dickinson? Why the heck are they doing this? Well, it comes down to the season series, and in the season series, the Elks beat the Stamps last week. They needed this score to take the lead in the season series. Bettors don't care about that, but Dave Dickinson and the Stamps certainly did. If you had the under in this game, you got screwed.
Michael Riley, a heck of a first half so far. 3 TDs, 176 yards. He is standing by with our Farhan Malji after this. Well, if you were just looking at these first half stats, you probably couldn't guess that this score was 35-13. Look at the time of possession alone. Here's our Farhan Malji with Michael Riley.
Michael, you completed your first 10 passes, 3 touchdown passes in that half. How were you able to get into such an early rhythm?
I think we were just executing at a high level. You know, it was once we scored that first touchdown, we just kind of had the momentum starting for the game, and the defense kept getting us opportunities, and so it just felt like it was easy to execute, and our guys did a great job. You know, second quarter, I'm sure you're going to ask me next about that because there was a bit of a lull offensively. You know, and that's tough to keep that momentum. It's great to get a kick return for a touchdown, but we weren't on the field all that much in the second quarter. But when we were, we didn't operate how we did in the first quarter. So certainly we got to clean some things up. I can't be throwing a pick down there on the 5-yard line or whatever it is. So there's definitely room for improvement in the second half.
Yeah, take me through that play because Bo Lacombo follows that up with a pick 6. So I'm sure you were probably the happiest guy in the field outside of Bo at that moment. But what did you see there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, defense had my back. You know, it was unfortunate because they kind of busted the other 2 routes on that side, but Katoy was my primary. We know he's a big body, and so we felt like if he had a step on anybody, we could just put it on him, and he could use his muscle to muscle his way into the end zone. So I felt like he had a step. I just missed him high and inside. Again, like I said, it was really unfortunate, obviously, because you know, they tried to pass it off and they kind of screwed it up. Lucky had good leverage. I think it was on Pernod on the corner route. I could have led him back to the side of the end zone. It would have been an easy touchdown. And they totally dropped Shaq in the flat. So you're just one of those unfortunate things. If I make a good throw, Katoy probably muscles way in and we're not even talking about it.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, thank you.
You have to appreciate Michael Riley. He literally asks his own questions during interviews. Lions currently up 35-13 at the half. Back to Vancouver after this.
To hold the line in the final round, are you backing down or finding out what you're made of?
Welcome back to BC Place. The Lions with a 35-13 lead over the Ottawa REDBLACKS following a first half that saw a number of big, explosive, entertaining plays. One of them, from a Lions perspective, that late pick six by Bo Lacombo. We asked Dom Davis about it at halftime. Dom, let's start with that last pass. I'm sure you'd love to have it back. What were you seeing at that moment?
Lacombo did a good job playing the inside out. He just made a good play.
Until then, take me through the rest of the half. It seemed like you were getting into a rhythm. You made some fairly good completions on long yardage situations. How good were you feeling about your game until that point?
We're doing some good things. We got to continue to do that. Yeah, we kind of fell apart a little bit into the half, but yeah, we got a second half here to come back and try to win the game.
Thanks, Tom. Another short kickoff by Stephen Flintoff, taken by Ryan Davis. He brings it back to the 35-yard line. And, you know, you've been through this, Matt, where you throw an interception and you've just got to keep chucking it.
Yeah, I have, forehand, a lot. And
I didn't want to go there.
No, it's good. You know, what goes around comes around. And I can say that, you know, he's got poise. He knows it's part of the game. He made a poor decision, and he gave Lacombo credit. You can never take that away from that defender. Lacombo made a nice play inside out, like you said. He gave it to him and took it away.
Play action there to Anthony Coombs. Looks like he's got a first down or close to it. Good way to start the half.
Yeah, and you look at that second quarter, time of possession for Ottawa was 10:51. You know, not for that pick. You know, they were controlling the line of scrimmage and explosive plays. Special teams destroyed Ottawa in that first half.
Yeah, they did get the one fake, the throw from Richie Leone. But other than that, you're right. I mean, the Lions got some big plays on teams, starting with that Lucky Whitehead return.
Yeah, the first play of the game. Randy puts it in field position, great field position, and they go down and score. Missed field goal, 119 yards the other way. That's tough to overcome, and they did a pretty good job of it up until that pick six.
Second and inches, Davis plunges forward again for the first down. Penalty flags on the play, likely offside against the Lions.
Dominic Davis, the ball carrier, flags on the play.
Yeah, you see Corte out there? Pickett.
Yeah, Pickett's in the game.
Yeah.
So maybe he's still out there at center.
Offside. BC. 5-yard penalty. That'll be a first down for Ottawa.
We'll have to wait for an update on Corte. I don't see 65 in the middle of that offensive line.
I do not. That's not a good thing, because they're already thin with experience at tackles, both tackles with Michelle Beatty and McGloster.
Davis drops back to pass, almost intercepted again. This time, it's Tavai dropping back into coverage. J.R. Tavai, and Rouge the one that got away.
Yeah, and Dom had no idea he was there. He'll be coming left to right in front of your screen, and he bats the ball down. He had no idea. An inch or two closer, Tavai takes that, and he could go for pick six.
Tavai wearing the number 10, looks like a DB or a linebacker, but he's actually a defensive end.
Yeah.
Right place, right time.
Well, and that's Rick Campbell calling a good game, mixing it up.
So they're in the three-man front again, and Tavai has dropped back into a linebacker spot here.
And they bring two on the edge. Oh, my goodness.
Almost another interception, a risky throw there. Marcus Sales breaks that play up, and He knows he could have gone.
Oh, and I'm telling you, Lapo's taking note of that because that could have gone the other way. Watch this. He just wings it. He doesn't even see it. Doesn't even know where the defenders are. And Sales, who is a ball hawk himself, going from free safety to Sam linebacker, he was close to a pick six there. And Paul LaPolice is taking note of this. If Dom doesn't get it together right now, we can see Matt Nichols in a hurry.
You know, with the score the way it is, there's certainly a lot to be gained for Dom Davis to just stay out there and get reps and learn. But you've got to show you're learning.
Oh, I'm a coach on the sidelines. I'm getting all up in Dom's face right now. And I am saying, son, what are you doing? Use your God-given ability there. Pull it down and make something happen to the short side. Don't throw it into traffic. You have no business doing that.
Ottawa is challenging for defensive pass interference on the previous play. We'll review the play.
We're reaching here. You know,
it's close.
Yeah, but it could or could not. But, you know, coach is trying to save his team because he doesn't want to go.
And it's a play behind the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
That's a tough one to overturn, I would think.
I'm not overturning that personally.
You know what Glenn Suter would say if he was here?
That's a great play.
That's a great play by a defensive back.
Another terrible decision by Dominic Davis. He's got to be better than that if he wants to stay on that football field and get a chance to continue to get reps.
Well, and you know, the play with Tavai and even the one at the end of the half, those were mistakes on reading, whereas this is a little more desperation, careless type of play. That's what you want to avoid as a coach.
That's a fair point. It's a fair point. And so you got all hell breaking loose for Dominic Davis. He's not reading the defense, and he's making poor decisions under duress.
And that was the type of play that Patrick Levels took back for a touchdown against the Owls, just that desperate throw caution to the wind moment.
So, yeah, coachable moments. See if Dominic can settle down. I don't think they're overturning this one, though. He needs to settle down. This is a critical moment, not only for Ottawa and this challenge here, but for Dominic Davis to continue to get reps moving forward.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Third down.
Paul LaPolice now 1 for 3 in challenges this season. Rick Campbell hasn't called for a challenge yet.
Yeah.
So Lapo's going to lose his timeout for the half, and Richie Leone comes on to kick. Chris Rainey deep, or is that Lucky Whitehead deep?
Looks like Lucky. Looks like a 7.
Number 7 and long hair coming out the back.
Yeah, that's dead giveaway. It's that long flight you took earlier.
I know. Lucky Whitehead has been asking for more return time. Yeah. So he's getting his wish in this game.
He had 119 yards, nothing there. Oh my God, it looked like Spearing at the end there. It looked like Spearing by Harris. R.J. Harris came in late with his helmet on the Lucky back. And Mike Riley having a half, first half, 10 for 10. And really things going his way when there was question whether or not he was going to be able to start this game. We saw him go off the field in pregame warm-ups, and then he's getting help from his receiver, Brian Burnham, settling down and boxing out his man, getting him on his back, and Riley goes...
Number 24. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
So, we're going to make Richie do it all over again. The team's run up and down the field a couple more times and see if Lucky can't get a better return. But Mike Riley... You heard him at half talk about his interception down the goal line. He had all kinds of options, and he liked this one with the big Javon Catoy trying to get leverage and get a step and be able to muscle it in. He just missed him. He was out in front of him. That happens.
Riley's first interception in 190 attempts, in his last 190 attempts, and his first of the season. I think I jinxed him earlier.
He's frustrated. You could tell with that interview. He was not happy.
He knew I was asking him about it, too.
That just drives you crazy, taking points off the board as a quarterback, knowing that's where you got to be good.
Well, he got the points back. He was fortunate. Meanwhile, not much more room for Lucky, but they do get some additional yardage thanks to the penalty, and Riley comes back on the field and tries to get a completion.
Yeah, I said they get a score here on this drive or soon in this quarter. And I expect to see little Nathan work here in the second half, but A little bit of ways from that happening. See if they can't put some more points on the board and make this to be official blowout.
Rourke with his eye on Ohio University earlier today, where his brother Curtis plays, where he used to play and
dominate.
Trying to see what the Bobcats are doing.
Yep. 60 touchdowns and throwing and 49 on the ground. I had the pleasure of watching him for the and watching a lot of video on him for the John Cornish Award, Best Canadian Player down in the States, playing in the NCAA. And last couple of years, Nathan Rourke's time at Ohio U. Well, my dad played football, by the way, Farhan. He's Bob.
At Ohio?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
it's become a factory for Canadian quarterbacks. Callum Wither, another Canadian, is committed to going there as well.
That's awesome. And yeah, he lit it up down there. I really enjoyed watching him play and watching his abilities transfer over to the CFL games were natural.
Looks like offside on that particular play as Riley pulls it down, runs with it, goes down.
Yeah, up 22. Early in the third quarter, 2nd and 9, pulling it down, taking shots on an offsides play. That's Mike.
Got to slide though,
Michael,
don't you?
Well, I don't know. I didn't. That wasn't me. I like the way he plays.
You never would have slid. You never would have slid.
BC number 84.
Yeah.
That penalty's declined. It will be 3rd down.
Keon Hatcher with his first game using that waggle motion.
Yeah.
You give him that.
Timing, that's right.
These two teams are the two least penalized teams in the league, and we haven't seen a lot of it tonight.
No, that's a good thing. Yeah, when he played University of Arkansas, not a whole lot of waggling going on down there.
He did catch 2 touchdown passes in one game against the University of Alabama, though. And he's got his first...
I bet you it was after beatdown.
And he's got his first CFL touchdown here.
Then we call it tabs, touchdowns after
beatdown. Harris with the return. He's earning his money today. The Red Blacks with some work to do, down 3 scores. The Lions have invited 2,000 frontline care workers to tonight's game, offering their thanks for their efforts during the pandemic. And they also did a 7 p.m. cheer, which became famous around here during the early months of the pandemic, and brought the cowbells here as well, and made sure that they gave their thanks to all those that helped us in such a meaningful way during the past 18 months.
I really like where this franchise is headed with new ownership and a marketing campaign and being relative in this city. I love it. Recognizing the people that count as well. 2,000 of them. It's awesome. These cowbells reminded me of Mississippi State, where Louisiana Tech in week 1 of their season pissed away a 21-point lead in the last 13 minutes and lost 35-34. A bunch of cowbells going on.
More cowbell, as they say.
Oh, yeah, more cowbell.
New Lions owner Amar Doman really has made a commitment to reconnecting this franchise to the market.
I love it.
Davis here on 2nd and 6. Finds Timothy Flanders out of the backfield. Nice throw and catch there. Jordan Williams with the tackle.
That's what Timothy does well. Paul Police head coach says he's the smartest player in the building. He understands all of football, and that was located nicely. He looked it in, picked up valuable yards, puts them across the midfield. See if they can't get Dom and these Red Blacks on track.
Dom said the same thing, that Flanders has been coaching players on their assignments, and he's another voice in the huddle that knows everything that's going on. Davis looking over the middle and almost intercepted by Gary Peters. Now, Gary Peters is the only member of the Lions starting secondary that's played in every game that doesn't have a pick yet.
Yeah, I know. They've got 7 on the year, 8 with Lacumbos now, and Dom just kind of stares this one down, and it's undercut. It has no idea that Peters is coming right to left into the screen. You got to see the field.
Rick Campbell has sent Peters to work on the jugs machine.
Oh, well, he needs to stay there.
He'd have a few picks.
Every minute of practice needs to be spent there for Gary Peters.
2nd and 10 for Davis. Nobody open. Pulls it down over the middle. That one's incomplete.
We got something going on the field there. Yeah, they're going at it. That was full contact karate going on right there. And Gloucester
on one end. We'll see who the Lions defensive lineman is on the other end.
Ooh-wee. Looked like Tavai.
Yeah, it looks like J.R. Tavai. And that was a close play where the pass got broken up, but they didn't call interference, and Paul Lapalisse doesn't have any challenges left.
Yeah, they were getting after it. Do you see any flags? Do you see any flags in the play?
No flags. Hey, these two teams don't take penalties.
How can there no be flags on this?
Yeah, Tavai got away with one there.
Yeah, and then they keep going at it.
Yeah, Tavai definitely got away with one there.
That's stuff you expect to see during the Labor Day collapse.
He got the takedown. That could have extended Ottawa's drive. Instead, Richie Leone on to punt. Chris Rainey this time back to receive.
Oh, it looks like a great location.
Yeah, Leone with the coffin corner kick right where you want it.
He knows it. Admired that one. Kind of like hitting a homer.
Lions will take over on the 4 when we return. Monday's biggest plays with NFL Red Zone available on tsn.ca and the TSN app.
Josh Allen's every bit as big as Big Ben.
He is. Whew. We should just call him Big Josh.
Yes.
Riley with the pump fake, looking deep. He's got Whitehead open. Whitehead has it. And Whitehead just gets tripped up before he could take it to the house.
Talking to Mike Riley a couple days ago on Zoom, he's talking about how his arm felt as good as it has been since the start of training camp. Lucky's right here, and he's just going to run a go, baby, and blows by the outside, and this ball's put out there just a little bit more. It's a walk-in from a long ways away. Mike Riley will take that, though.
Marcus Lewis, the cornerback who got beat, but also made the touchdown-saving tackle. 63-yard gain for Lucky Whitehead, who leads the league in yards per game.
Yeah, and Mike said, yeah, he's throwing ball in practice earlier in the week, threw 65 yards in the air, and knew he probably shouldn't, but he did. He said it felt good.
Jack Cooper, a rare carry on the night. Gets about 3 yards to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, his guy that I really think can really add some more pop to this offense, as if they need it tonight. But Shaq Cooper, he and Mike Riley were a thing in Edmonton for a while. He was explosive there, and he'd just get you yards after the carry every time he touches the football. I'd use him in the receiving game as well.
Yeah, they played together in 2018 in Edmonton. Cooper with over 650 yards from scrimmage that season, along with 3 touchdowns. He was originally a defensive back in college.
Yeah.
At Fort Hays State before he made the change.
Yeah, 87% of his yardage comes after the catch.
Hatcher with another reception as Riley empties out the backfield. Good for a first down.
It's good to see him getting involved. Running a little curl route, coming back to the ball, earning the trust of his quarterback, coming right at you. Watch Riley. Eyes, boom, ball's out. Give it to him. A little late. Oh, he went and climbed the ladder, too.
And they put him on the injured list. They haven't put him on the practice roster. They wanted to invest in this player because they knew he was a good one.
Yeah, and seeing his opportunity tonight with Mar Durant out of the ball game and Dominic Grimes. Uh-oh.
Cooper goes the wrong way.
How do you know that?
It could have been Riley going the wrong way. Now he throws
look at that, one-hander. There's Cooper doing his thing.
8-yard gain. Riley almost crossed the line of scrimmage, thought about it, then dumped it off.
Maybe that was the way they designed it up.
Well, it looked like it was a pass the whole way.
It's going to be fun to watch. It's like, hey, here you go, point fake. Nope, nobody's there. A little ghost fake. Slide to my left. All right, Cooper. Pump fake.
You going to keep it? No, I'll give it to you.
One-handed, too. Watch Avery Williams go chase him down. Another tackle. Get on your horse. Third-year player from Temple.
2nd and 2. This time Cooper gets the ball, gets the first down, tries to break free, down to the 10-yard line. His best run of the evening.
Huh? Get him the rock. I look at it, and he's just explosive.
Just 3 touches in the first half, but
nice
given the score, you might see him a little busier here in the second half.
That's just doing the dirty work up front. Hunter Stewart, Figs, Joe Figueroa getting her done on that left side. staying on their blocks, giving Cooper a little hole, and he doesn't need much. Big yardage.
Not quite first and goal. Just outside the 10-yard line. BC's third trip to the red zone. Quick pass this time to Burnham. A little behind him, but he's able to stop, change direction, and get into the end zone. Brian Burnham with another touchdown. Burnham on fire.
Yeah, he was, and the play didn't look like it was going anywhere fast. Ball's a little bit late, not a lot on it. Burnham's got Antoine Pruneau up in his face. He makes him miss and leaves a trail of Redblacks in his wake, and he finds the end zone.
Brad Muhammad missed a tackle. Another defender tries to pull the ball out. Gump Hayes can't make the play there, and Brian Burnham with his second touchdown of the evening. Lions find the end zone on their first possession of the half. Lions pouring it on.
Antoine Pruneau's not going to be proud of this one, and Mike Riley, a needless point fake to his back, and you're going to watch Burnham just slide out here. Little bubble, there's a point fake. Ball's late. Pruneau's on target. He misses, and then it's the Brian Burnham show, leaving a trail of Redblacks in his wake, and Pruneau's some kind of livid right now. Got to be better than that. Long night for the Redblacks, a long ride home after this one.
Burnham with a single touchdown coming into this game. He's added 2 to his total on 4 catches. We mentioned earlier he went over the 6,000-yard career receiving mark. Davis with the kickoff return crosses the 35-yard line, brought down by Adam Konar. Ben Haladic also in on that. Did you really?
I did, yes. Kevin Konar, he was stud. I got tired of throwing him interceptions, so I had to come to BC and actually team up with him. You can't beat him, join him, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, his son Adam had a great career at Calgary. Dino.
Early on, when he was playing for Chris Jones in Edmonton, you got the sense he'd be a starting linebacker if it weren't for the injuries.
Oh, man.
TJ Lee with a big hit on Davis. That's the second time Lee has lit up Davis in this game.
Yeah, he undercut him that one time, landed on the back of his head early in the ball game, and here they just threw him down like a rag doll. Watch him. Watch the hit. He just takes him just like, get out of here. Right here. Bam.
Not sure which receiver Davis was throwing to at that point, as he's 2 for his last 8.
Yeah, he's come off the rails a little bit for Dominic, and he needs to settle down. Uh-oh.
Pressure coming, flag on the play, and Davis throws it out of bounds. Tim Bonner broke free. Looks like a holding call in the backfield.
Yeah, no question. And so injury to insult here. You know, live to play another one, throw it away, but I really think with your skill set or his skill set.
Holding. Ottawa, number 65. Penalties declined. 3rd down.
Looks like Corte's back in the game, but playing tackle now.
Yeah. So somebody has to.
Not a lot left in the can.
No. But my point with Dom there, yeah, okay, I like you throwing away, but with his athletic ability and all that space in the field, see what you can do.
Chris Rainey with the return, had a crease.
That's all he
gets brought
needs.
down at the 45-yard line. Lions with a 39 or 29-point lead when we come back. Mike Riley with the ball at his own 44-yard line. Lions lead 42-13. Still in the 3rd quarter. Riley facing the heat, and he is brought down.
Yeah, and that's Cleon Lang. And it looks like
Avery Ellis along with him.
And this, you know, it's 42-13. right here. This is where the damage is going to come from. On the left side, swim move on the inside, whiff by Chung, and Riley pays the price. How much longer we're going to see 13 out there before we see number 12, Nathan Rourke?
Yeah, probably won't be long now. Lions in control of this one. Second and long, 16 yards to go after that sack. Riley empties out the backfield, looking for the screen. Cooper trying to get to the edge, picks up a block, and close to first down yardage. Not sure he quite got there, though.
No, 2 yards short. Know where the sticks are, Shaq.
At this point, I'd expect to see Rick Campbell call for his punt team.
Tip your shoulder and pick up the first down. Yeah, you can see it set up the whole time. Hunter Stewart just kind of hanging on. Grabbed cloth in the interior, didn't get called. Chung, little late push. Yeah, he's like, come on. Get the first down. What are you doing? See him?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He said, Shaq.
Come on. Yeah. He's like, help me out here. We'll stay in the field. Bury these guys.
Stephen Flintoff back to punt. Ryan Davis back to receive. Wow. Actually, Anthony Coombs this time. Booming, high-hanging punt by Flintoff goes out of bounds.
We haven't seen him much tonight. Flintoff?
No, we haven't. And Coombs, they probably want to give Ryan Davis a break given the amount of hits he's taken and footballs he's touched tonight.
Yeah, he's probably the smallest guy in the field. Just relentless.
Again, the Red Blacks without Devontae Dedmon tonight, the CFL's leader in combined yardage coming into this game.
Yeah, look at, they're laughing about it because they're up, right? Mike's giving it to him. Nathan's learning something here, and he's telling him, what are you doing, man? Move the sticks.
Look at Nathan's look.
Yeah, look at him. Yeah, that's right.
That, aw, shucks, you were right.
Yep.
DJ Lee on the blitz. Throw just behind Anthony Coombs. Keontae Harden in on the coverage.
Second down, Red Blacks. Second down.
Yeah, the wheels kind of coming off for Dom right now. Doesn't have anything going in the second half.
5 straight incompletions. There were some promising drives early when BC got a lead and threatened to pull away. They were able to make some plays, but
a lot of these 2nd and 10, 2nd and longs. Rushing 3, dropping 9.
Davis got him. Pass again. Finds Flanders in the flat. Good enough for a first down.
Went through his progressions nicely. Ball got out on time. Coming right at you. Watch him. Boom, boom, boom. There he is. Stick it on him. His eyes were right there. When the ball comes out with timing, you see the defense, you know where your guys are, and you trust that they're going to be there at their depths and spatial awareness is in place. Stick it on them and you move the sticks.
First completion in a while here for Davis. He drops back, some pressure there. Checks it down to Daniel Peterman. Marcus Sales forces him out of bounds.
Yeah, he's had a quiet night, Daniel Peterman has. Kid from McMaster. A lot of quicks. Good feet. Heady player that you just trust is going to be where he's supposed to be. Had a big week 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 touchdown catches against Montreal. That's his 2nd catch of the night.
Excuse me, last week, yeah.
2nd and 5, and should be good enough for the first down.
That was tight. That was tight.
That was Davis with the catch again, and another big hit he takes. But manages to move the sticks.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, pretty tough player.
Yeah, he is. Football players come in all shapes and sizes is one thing. They're all tough, some tougher than others, but
there's Davis again. They're ruling that incomplete instead of a fumble.
Oh, yeah,
that is a fatigue fumble right there.
Yeah, it looks like he just ran out of gas and on vapors there. Looks sputtering. Trying to get up. Dom makes a nice read, sticks it to him. Right there. Oh, yeah, what he
just looks tight.
Milt Stegall knows he didn't catch it with his eyes. He started turning his head upfield and didn't have it secured. Another 2nd and 10.
They converted the last one. Let's see what they come up with here. Davis drops back. Sends it to Nate Bahar. Manages to stay on his feet. Is he going to get the first down? He may have it.
Ooh, he's going to be back a foot short.
No, they're signaling first down.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, let's keep this game going. Let's go.
Tempo right now for the Red Blacks. They seem to have found something here. Davis looks to Bahar again. Ball a little bit high and behind him. He can't twist and adjust and make the catch. And another 2nd and 10.
This location he's been working on with Steve Walsh, and that one was not located properly. Bahar made a nice play on that last 2nd and 10, moving the sticks.
Bahar didn't practice much this week, dealing with a bit of an injury.
Yeah, and he's a guy that they look and feel that can really round out into being a guy that can do a lot for him, kind of like Brad Sinopoli did in the past. He's got a long way to go before he gets there.
Davis back to pass again over the middle. This time, another completion.
3rd and 1
Nate
here.
Bahar again. 3rd and 1 at midfield. You're going to go for it here, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, this is, this should be pitch and catch time, not on this play, but on this drive in this situation, down 29, 3rd quarter coming to an end. Defense is playing soft. They're rushing 3 oftentimes, dropping 9.
Is this what you call yab?
Yeah, these are yards after beat down for sure.
Penalty flags on the play. Likely a neutral zone infraction against the Lions. We only had 5 accepted penalties in this game prior to that one.
Jim Barker back in studios pulling his hair out. He's got a lot of it too, so he's good on that account. So
offside, BC on the defensive line.
Yes.
5-yard penalty. First down, Ottawa.
It's controllable.
Absolutely.
Give him a freaking yard.
There's a lot that gets Jim fired up.
Well, that is one of his pet peeves, particularly down on the goal line, where there's a yard barrier, and the goal line is your marker. And Barker goes crazy if you don't hit your marker.
Final seconds of the 3rd quarter. First down again.
We call him Dusty, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah.
Davis scrambling around in the pocket.
Ball's
out. Ottawa recovers.
Come on, Dom.
And that is the final play of the quarter. When we come back, another 2nd and 10. That Lions in control, 42-13, as they look for their first home win of the season. Lions jumped out to a big lead. Ottawa hung around for a bit, but what are you expecting now the rest of the way?
More of the same, but with a different quarterback behind the center for the BC Lions. Expecting young Nathan Rourke, the Ohio Bobcat, to step on the field and take some reps, which he needs. Get your star off the field, because he's done his job tonight along with the rest of the team. And they've rallied around Mike Riley and his arm issues for the last several wins, and they did it again tonight. Mike's been much better with his throwing, and a couple balls he'd like to put out there a little bit more, make this an even more dominant performance, but he's done his job in an outstanding fashion tonight. I'd expect to see Nathan Rourke next time the Lions offense takes the field.
Ottawa with a 2nd and 10 again. Looks to his left, finds R.J. Harris. Close to the first down, not quite there, but given where we're at, it's probably 3-down territory, and they go for it again.
Yeah, I think it's just up the top of your screen. Sit right in front of the defense, because they're giving them all that. They just want to get burnt deep over the top. It's like late in the game, if you're an outfielder, everything's in front of you. Same with defensive secondary. Everything's in front of you.
Another one of those
Offside.
penalties that Jim Barker so loves.
BC defensive line. 5-yard penalty.
Well,
first down,
Jim
Ottawa.
Wake in the studio. I know exactly what they're doing in the studio. I just can't tell him.
No, you can't. That stays in the vault.
Yeah, it does. Have fun, y'all. Get her done.
First down, 36-yard line. Lions showing blitz.
Uh-oh.
Oh, almost a pick six by Keontae Harden.
It would have been his first pick six, but his third interception. It was almost vintage wine time. Little Keontae.
And
right
Davis,
through his hands.
Davis did what has worked for him earlier against the blitz, and as far as throwing it where the blitz is coming from. But the Lions are waiting for that one. Nathan Rourke.
I can make that play, he's saying. Keontae's having him a good initial season. Pittsburgh State got a couple picks.
2nd and 10 again.
We've been here every time on this drive. Look at Peterman did.
Peterman with the reception, knocked out of bounds by Johnson.
Oh man, the Sticks guy just got destroyed.
Johnson getting extended playing time with the injury to Victor Gamboa.
Yeah, coming right at you. Daniel showing his quick feet, little stiff arm, get off of me. Loses Keontae. Wham. Could be an MCL right there.
Timothy Flanders with the carry. Not much there.
I don't think he got it. Turnover on downs.
Yeah, 3rd and 2, they ran the football.
And let me see. Nathan Rourke, he's warming up quickly. Riley looks like he's closer to the ball. Watching him on the sidelines here, just playing pitch and catch. It usually means something's going on. I don't know why Riley would be. I think Riley's going the way he's warming up. I hope not.
Oh, Riley gets one more series. I'm with you. I'd let the kid play at this point.
Yeah. He'll keep getting that wing loose on the sidelines. Mike's having a night, though. Decent numbers. He's close to going over 300 here.
A night we weren't sure we would have based on what we saw during warm-up.
He's got 20 more yards. Probably get it on this drive here if they get something going. Then I'll have some cool ones in the locker room.
Riley came into this game 14th on the CFL's all-time passing list.
Come on, Coop. That's not where you run him. You get him out on the edge. Passive call.
Boy, there was a great block by Joel Figueroa on Avery Ellis there on that last play.
Yeah, they're going at it. He's got size advantage over Avery Ellis.
That would be called a pancake right there.
That's what you live for. Opportunities like this to pave the way late in the game, bring it home. Kind of like pride and joy of those big boys up front to be able to do that.
Figueroa's had a very good game considering he's been injured. They weren't sure he was going to play. He got into the Thursday practice. Riley scrambling to his right, floats it for Shaq Johnson, who makes the catch. Not enough for a first down, though. Tough to control his momentum as he was sprinting along with Riley going to the right there.
That was a hell of a throw with a guy who's the wing that's not acting properly half the time, and he got it out there. Here's the pressure. They're bringing 6, and he's flushed. Right up the middle, he's flushed to his right, off his back foot. He's taken down by Frankie Beltre. Not enough for moving the chains. I think that's it for Riley.
Well, here's the thing with Mike, and every game they've seen this, that at some point later in the game, his arm tends to fatigue depending on, what treatment has worn off and things of that nature.
Treatment.
I'm saying it nicely.
Yeah.
Flag on the play.
Treatment. Yeah. Yeah. It's, you do what you have to do at this level, and Mike's been doing everything he can to go out there and play. Dominic's still rolling out there. Got to figure this out.
And this is the right decision, because if you're Matt
Legal
Nichols
block.
and you've been dealing with
Ottawa,
issues,
number 34. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, this is not the time to go out there and try to make it happen. He can dink and dunk with them all day, but you got to be able to push the ball down the field every now and then. And I just don't think that Matt Nichols is capable of doing that. And that's no disrespect to him and his game. He's just not physically healthy.
Paul Lapolis did say to us during the week in practice, he was dealing with an oblique injury later on in the week, but early on there were some balls that were jumping out of his hand. That the velocity is slowly starting to come back. And it was a difficult decision for Paul to make. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll elaborate on that decision. We got Chris Raineywired today. He likes to yap.
He's had some plays where he's earned the respect and the opportunity to yap, too. He and Lucky Whitehead, Brian Burnham, Devon Katoy.
Davis being pressured again, gets it out to Timothy Flanders, who's able to get a first down before being bumped out of bounds by T.J. Lee.
There's an example of his athleticism. Dom Davis from East Carolina running backwards, and strong arms one out to Timothy Flanders. Pressure in his face. Tavai. Lacumbo. First down. Sling nasty right there.
Oh, he loved it. We talked to him. He brought that up. You didn't even bring it up. He loves that term.
Yeah, he brought it up on Zoom call. He says, I got to get my sling nasty going.
Sales on the blitz right here as Davis is running around again and throws it away just short of Nate Bahar.
How is that not roughing the passer after the ball is already thrown and he gets whipped to the ground? I don't understand that. Sales got away with one there because the letter of the law, Sales coming from top of the screen right off the edge. Flanders can't handle him.
He's just finishing the tackle back.
And then wham, he throws him down. Now it's not much.
You're like Suits with the DB user.
No, but I mean, we've seen a lot less called.
We have.
Yeah.
No, in fairness,
That's all
we
I'm
have.
saying.
Got to protect the Stars. Davis with all sorts of time now getting pressured. Manages to stay on his feet.
There it is.
Gets it to Flanders. That was a messy play, but Flanders is still going. We've got injured BC Lions in the backfield.
Just left in the wake of Dominic Davis moving around there like a water bug, trying to keep his eyes downfield, sucking the paint off the field right now. He's like, Lions are all over the field. Watch this. This is just a jailbreak. A lot of twisting up front. Nice job by Flanders as he steps in front of the big 300-pounder and takes the brunt of that. Dumps it down. Flanders makes somebody miss. Picks up a first down. In the meantime, we got two BC Lions, Tavai and Josh Banks is the other one.
Neither looks like it's too serious. Probably more fatigued than anything. It took him a while before they got there.
You think? And the last play, you remember, Dom was headed in the wrong direction. Strong-armed it to Flanders. In this last one, he's running around in the pocket, dodging people left and right. Tavai just needs a breather. Banks ain't ready yet. He's getting up.
Tavai, the one veteran on this defensive line.
All those two trainers didn't even help him up. He had to get up by himself.
Lions trainer Tristan Sandu there.
Look, maybe the Stinger is trying to get rid of right now. Been there, done that. Everybody has who played the game.
Get some guys in defensively here. You've got Ben Haladik and Adam Konar at the linebacker spots as Lacombo and Jordan Williams taking a break.
Yeah, I love that. Love that as coaches getting their players some quality reps. Maybe Travis Brown has come over with Rick Campbell from Ottawa, as well as Ryan Phillips, secondary coach. They're getting them done, getting the guys a look.
More pressure as Davis gets it out to Coombs. Working to get back to the line of scrimmage, but he is brought down by Marcus Sales for a loss of 2 on the play.
You know, we talked about the two left tackles being new, and then with Corte going down and having to switch, top of the line coming right at you. He's right there. Just bats Corte, who's not accustomed playing left tackle. Gets to Dom, and Dom's going, woo! This is a long day.
Yeah, depth at offensive line, certainly a challenge.
Yeah. So
Ottawa's been dealing with it in the secondary as well, and obviously in the receiving corps.
Empty backfield, quarterback draw. Need a lot more than that.
Konar and Sales up to make the tackle.
Third and long.
Pretty basic read for any linebacker, or defensive lineman, or DB. Empty backfield, got a guy like Dom Davis. Quarterback draw, third and long.
This time he gets it out to Harris on third and long. Good enough for the first down.
Yeah, it's huge. Third and 6. Keep the drive alive. We hadn't heard much from RJ.
No, is that a quiet night?
Watch his ball. Stand there. Stick it in there. Boom. It's 35 yards on a rope. Uh-oh.
This time he throws it in behind.
Those secondary decisions that he's making, he's staring, then he wants to dump it down with pressure in his face, and oftentimes he hasn't known where he's throwing the football. And you saw it right there.
Yeah, this is a tough situation for him because the Lions have been able to get pressure with 3 and 4. They're not having it.
Watch his eyes. To the right, to the right, to the right. No, across. Or, oh, no, I'm going to throw it back here. But he has no idea what's going on back there because he hasn't seen it. The ball's released. That's what's got him in trouble a couple times.
Second and 10 again. Lions show blitz. They bring Konar.
Yep.
Davis throws it to Daniel Peterman, who breaks one tackle, 2 tackles, before finally being wrapped up by Ben Haladik, the rookie out of UBC.
That's a long throw to get you 7. Put you at third and 3 or 4 here. Looks like 3. Yeah.
Haladik from Vernon, British Columbia.
Trying to stop the bleeding. It's a long throw. From that hash to the boundary is 41 yards, just straight to the boundary. You take it up about 6-7 yards. About a 48-yard throw off his back foot. Pressure from the field.
Third down again. The handoff to Flanders, and again he gets stopped on third down. Adam Konar with the tackle. When we come back, Nathan Rourke looks to be going in. He sprinted. I'm surprised. He had his helmet on. He took a couple of fast steps to the sideline. I thought we would see Nathan Rourke.
Yeah, I don't know what head coach Rick Campbell's thinking, or offensive coordinator Jordan McSimic. I certainly have my star off the football field with 7.5 to go in the fourth quarter, up by 29.
Yeah, Rourke needs reps.
Because you don't need that.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
Riley puts it up for Lucky Whitehead.
Yes.
And he gets up no worse for wear.
Yeah, but that's Mike. That's Michael. Excuse me. Yeah. Looking for Rainey in the flats. Chose to go over the top.
Needless.
That ended my career hit like this. My head snapped in the turf. A couple series in a row. Next thing I know, I'm feeling like I got 3-4 more years left, and I'm done. It can happen just like that. You can't be risking it. The win is in the books. Get 12 sometime.
Second and 10 for the Lions from their own 42. And looks like we've got a challenge flag being thrown.
What?
First one of the year for Rick Campbell at this stage.
Up by 29. Yeah.
A couple of decisions we don't quite understand.
Let's see if they can't keep Riley on the field longer.
BC is challenging defensive pass interference against number 6 on Ottawa. We'll review the play.
Antoine Pruneau in coverage.
Antoine's had a long night back there. Here's a good look at it. Ball's in the air. Lucky Whitehead's positioned himself. Oh yeah, that's
pass
definitely PI. Yeah.
Certainly got there early. Always so easy to see when you're able to slow it down to this speed.
Yeah, and you know, he's trying to play the ball, but he hits the defender, and Lucky's tapping his head right away, which is a signal to the boundary or the coaches to take a look at it.
Certainly prevented him from going up in the air to make a play on the ball.
I remember when Paul Lapolice was in the studio as an analyst with us, and they were looking for the challenge because players aren't allowed to do the flag motion in the air. So we all started dancing, making up our own ideas as to what we would do if we wanted the coaches to challenge a call on the field.
Good thing there was no TikTok then.
The next thing you know, Schultze, Lapo, Rod, everybody's dancing, Milt and I, and it was one of the funniest moments that I've been a part of in 22 years of broadcasting with TSN. And Lapo was a big part of it. He was doing the Weekend at Bernie's behind me and behind the whole studio, and it was awesome. It was all because of that. And now you see players tapping their helmet as the universal sign to challenge it, which I guess doesn't show up the officials like you would if you were throwing a flag. So Lucky went to the helmet tap right away.
I'm thinking I remember the play too.
After review, we have defensive pass interference, Ottawa, number 6. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul.
He's 1 for 1.
First down,
there you go.
BC.
I guess you got to practice challenging as well.
And Mike stays out there with 7 minutes to go on the clock, up 29. I'm going to be quiet now. I'm not going to say anything else about it.
Until he gets hit again.
I'll let you do that.
Lions in Ottawa territory now at the 46-yard line, looking to add to their 29-point lead, 42-13.
Going to go 3-2 on the year. Things are pretty tight out in the West.
Riley closing in on 300 yards, sitting at 287 right now as he pulls the ball out, gets it to Brian Burnham, who puts his head down and crosses the 40-yard line.
Hungry. 3rd and 4, 3rd and, yeah. 2nd and 4, my bad.
Yeah, by the time Rourke comes in, he'll probably be having to take a knee.
Zip it.
2nd and 4. Again, pulls the ball out, gets it to Shaq Johnson. Good enough for a first down.
Mike around it, good play to Shaq Johnson. He's at the 30
Trying to spread it out and get everybody involved.
Yeah, I guess so. And, you know, he's closing in on 300. Maybe that's what he's staying out there for.
Riley, 19 of 22, sitting at 293 yards and 4 touchdowns. Coming off the CFL Performer of the Month, one of 3 top performers for the month of August.
Yeah, I think it's a nice throw.
To Shaq Johnson again. That'll get him over 300 yards as Shaq crashes into the sign.
Yeah, and so Mike Riley, you know, with his arm problems, he just chunked that one about 50 yards on a rope. You're going to watch it coming right at you. He's on the left hash, slings it all the way out here. Moves the sticks. That's what you have to be able to do. You don't have that arm strength, don't even bother applying.
BC 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line.
It's a good night right there. 21-25, 310. Take that every time out. Looking at a 5th to that total.
Shaq Cooper, the ball carrier. Actually, that's Chris Rainey. Gain of close to 6 on the play.
Do you think Rainey is a in between the tackles type of runner?
He's not afraid. I mean, we don't think of him that way. Obviously, he would be more effective going to the edge.
Yeah.
But he's not afraid to stick his nose in there.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, I think they're always trying to take advantage of people thinking he's a perimeter guy. Then he sticks it in there and shows his toughness.
Yeah, he's had 12 carries coming into this game. He's had a few more touches from the backfield than he has in recent years. Riley dropping back, looks to the left side, finds Shaq Johnson again inside the 10-yard line. Fumbles the ball out of bounds, but the Lions still have it.
That's one of those situations I talked about early in the ball game. You may not see the ball as a receiver for 57 minutes, and then in the last few minutes of the ball game, all of a sudden, the ball's, you know, it's just getting stuck on you like Velcro. And here's Mike just, again, throwing wide side. Shaq makes a nice play on the ball. Draws some heat. Ball's ripped out by Donu Numba, who's an outstanding player from Texas Tech.
Been a quiet season for Shaq Johnson, just 7 catches coming into this game. Last year against Ottawa, or in 2019, I should say, he caught 160 yards worth of passes, including a long touchdown pass from Duron Carter.
It's a name you hadn't heard in a while.
No. Rainey gets it down to the 6-yard line.
Well, six are out, 2nd and goal, 7.
Lions will improve to 3-2 after this one, their first win at home, and then they play 3 of their next 4 at home. They go to Montreal next week, and then after that, 3 in a row here at BC Place.
Yeah, and good feeling to get first home win here. Riley looking for Javon Catoy in this situation. Got Keon Hatcher, see if he gets him involved. Catoy coming left.
Riley dropping back and looking at. Oh! You saw that coming. You were saying it. Looking for Hatcher. It almost went back the other way, and the Lions get set to kick a field goal.
Man, that's a long way. Warren Moon in practice used to throwing that wide side out. He's the 3rd receiver right here. He's just going to go sit out there all by himself in hopes that the ball can get there on time. And he can see the corner drift and then cut and make his break. And Warren be jogging in that direction. I asked him in practice, Warren, what are you doing running like that after every throw to the wide side? He says, it's a long way over there. I'm just getting a head start in case it goes the other way. And Mike almost had to make a little jaunt like that himself.
Gump Hayes, the defender, almost taking it back for 7. Meanwhile, Jimmy Camacho with his first field goal attempt of the night. His Lions have managed to score all touchdowns to this point. He's been 6 for 6 on converts, and now his first field goal of the night as he remains perfect on the season, 7 for 7.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the Lions put the finishing touches on their 3rd win. Well, if Kate Burness is willing, the CFL on TSN will continue next week, beginning with a Friday night football doubleheader as the Stamps take on the Ticats, followed by a showdown between the Argos and Rough Riders. Coverage gets underway Friday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. It keeps on rolling all weekend long, only on TSN. Think they're tired back there?
Yeah.
Our panel producer, Jamie Rydell, I'm sure is completely out of ideas at this point. Slurpee boy.
Yeah, they're taking care of business, man. Checking things off the box.
When we return, Dom Davis gets another shot at putting some points up against the Lions. Mike Benavides back where he makes his off-season home, and the first 3 games for the Red Blacks defensively were exceptional.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of injuries. They're dealing with it like certainly the offensive side is as well, but the last 2 games, not what you're expecting if you're Mike.
No. 51 points last week, 45 tonight so far. A lot of questions now need to be answered in all phases.
And keep in mind, 14 of those points came from defense and special teams, but nonetheless, it's a big number.
That's why I say in all phases, and because everybody takes accountability in this. And you tip your hat to the opposition for getting it done. Then he'll find a way to get him going. It's been a long ride home. But, man, not going to get any easier.
Red Blacks still without Sherrod Baltimore, Abdul Kana, some veterans in the secondary.
Uh-oh, that's a ball.
That looks like it's getting intercepted, but no, Jordan Williams can't hang on to it. Johnson knocked it up in the air first. Williams back in the game after taking a couple of series off. Had the interception 2 weeks ago against Ottawa.
Yeah, this you just, I mean, it's never a good thing when it's volleyball time here. Boing, off the shoulder of the Lions defender. And then Williams can't get it done.
Richie Leone on to punt, Lucky Whitehead deep to receive, and now I'm sure, based on the fact that Mike Riley's helmet is off, no, he just put it back on, so we're not sure.
Yeah, but Rourke is the only one throwing, but with 2 minutes to go,
he'll be handing off.
Yeah, it's just. Well, like Camacho, at least he'll felt like he's earned his paycheck.
There you go. Whitehead at his own 25-yard line, looks for some space. But Antoine Pruneau is there to bring him down after a gain of 10 yards. And Nathan Rourke is, in fact, coming into the game.
How about Antoine Pruneau, huh? Starting free safety, playing all that time, getting lit up back there. Long day for him, still running down there and punt coverage.
Nathan Rourke played in the season opener. He got the emergency start when Mike Riley wasn't ready. Riley came back at halftime. Rourke wound up finishing that game, showed a lot of good things in the time that he played, and I think the coaching staff is excited about his long-term CFL prospects as a potential starter down the road.
Mike Riley speaks highly of him. Coach Campbell got to know him during the COVID year in 2020 because he's from here and lives here, and he basically had to kick him out of the facility oftentimes because Rourke was just always there. And Mike Riley reiterates that, says the young quarterback has all the skills to play a long time in the Canadian Football League, and he knew he belonged after spending training camp and basically taking a lot of the first team reps for the entire training camp.
Yeah, there were some concerns at one point in the offseason about Rourke's velocity. Based on what he showed at Ohio, but in the last year and a half, he has spent a ton of time working with a local quarterback coach named Rob Williams, who's done a lot for his velocity. You're not going to see it here as he's handing the ball off, but that was the one thing. There was a moment before training camp. The guys were throwing the ball at the Lions facility in Surrey, and management, the coaches took a look and said, who is that?
Yeah.
And that was Nathan Rourke, and at that moment they realized that there's some jump in this kid's arm that maybe wasn't there before, and he showed it early on in camp.
Yeah, he's got enough in the arm for sure, and he's got a lot with those legs as well. 49 touchdown rushes at Ohio, along with his 60 throwing. Dual threat, and his skill set fits perfectly for the CFL.
Taken in the second round of the draft 2 years ago.
He probably learned more on the sidelines than watching Riley and how he conducted himself. We saw that one great meeting and experience on the sidelines when Riley was giving it to Shaq Johnson about staying in bounds, and I just thought that's, you learn a lot, even if you're not on the football field, just how to handle situations, how to be a leader, and Mike Riley can certainly show him the ropes there. He's taking it all in like a sponge. Like a rat, gym rat, he's just, Coach Campbell says, I couldn't get rid of the kid.
Stephen Flintoff back to punt. Brian Davis.
Oh, nice.
Gets it at his own 19, runs out after a 5-yard gain. At this point, why take another hit?
That's a career decision right there. Brian, I've enjoyed this. I don't know if I'll get a chance to work with you the rest of the year, but certainly enjoyed it. Thanks for flying back from Tampa and joining us.
It was fun.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the doubleheaders next week.
It's not that hard of a job to say your thoughts, Matt.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, it's good to be in the booth with you. Come out to Vancouver, the West Coast, see some good friends. Call a game.
Dom Davis dumping it down to Nate Bahar. Pickup of 10 yards on first down. Gary Peters a little slow to get up.
Yeah, he is, holding that right arm.
Peters was dealing with a bit of a hamstring injury early on in the season, and Rick Campbell said the bye did him a tremendous amount of good, and you saw it on some plays earlier where he was very strong in coverage. Bahar over the middle again, gain of over 20 here before he's brought down by Anthony Thompson, making his second start at free safety.
Yeah. Talking to Brian Burnham about his bye week. He said his wife came up and he got to spend some time with her. Just got out and got away from everything for about 3 days. And I know the type of family man that he is. And everybody just had a chance to get away from it a while. And good timing for the break. Took full advantage of it, as they all looked like they had a little spring in their step tonight.
winding down here. 2nd and 10 for Davis and the Red Blacks. Davis looking for Coombs again, makes the catch, goes down at the 35-yard line.
The only thing keeping you interested right now is your fantasy points, right? And you got Coombs, you know, you got a couple Hatcher, you know, you got these guys involved. You know, that's the beauty of football and fantasy.
You had Riley on your team.
Yeah, I had Riley.
So you've had a good day.
Well,
Davis finds Coombs again.
that's okay. I'll take that. Yeah.
Lots of yab.
Yeah, yards after beatdown is what we like to call them. We keep track
Can we
of
just
them.
call them fantasy yards?
No.
You like yab better?
Yeah, yab's way better.
Davis scrambles to his right, looking in the end zone. He's just short of the end zone where he misses R.J. Harris out of bounds. 5 seconds to go. The Lions with their first win of the season at home here at BC Place. As mentioned, they've got a fairly home-friendly schedule coming up. And when you look at what's happened in the league over this weekend, it's going to get pretty interesting in the West. Winnipeg is obviously looking very, very good. But after 2 straight losses, Saskatchewan's come back to the pack. Calgary with a win, getting the 2 wins, keeping Edmonton within striking distance. So you've got Winnipeg there. But after that, it's going to be pretty competitive from 2 to 5.
Yeah, Bo Levi made the start today up in Edmonton. Found a way to beat them. And, yeah, it's...
Gary Peters with his first interception, but it's coming back, Matty, because there was an offside penalty against the BC Lions. So the DB room is still going to ride him.
Offside. BC number 99.
Oh, look at him.
5-yard penalty.
He threw the ball down. Put his hands in his helmet. Threw the ball down. Put his hands in his helmet. Like, son of a gun. I'll get you another one. He's been around the ball a lot tonight. Easy look at the penalty here.
And it's a penalty. Can't argue that one.
There it is. Good.
Big slant route inside, and R.J. Harris trying to stretch for the touchdown, and the Lions keep him out. And that's your final score. The BC Lions 43, the Red Blacks 13. Ottawa heads into the bye week with a 4-game losing streak. The Lions finally put back-to-back wins together before heading to Montreal next week. Rick Campbell with a pair of wins against his old team.
Farhan certainly enjoyed it.
It was an entertaining first half.
Yeah, it was. Only 10 points in the second half by the BC Lions, 0 for the Red Blacks, and the deed had already been done.
Big game for Mike Riley, milestones for Brian Burnham, and a great opening debut for Keon Hatcher. Again, the Lions with a big win over Ottawa. Sports Center is next with Nikki Reyes and Sarah Davis.
Welcome to SportsCenter. Sarah and Nikki here with you. Week 6 wrapping up in the CFL. The Lions coming off a bye, and their last game was a win over Ottawa. But Sarah, the Red Blacks are a different-looking team the last time BC saw them.
Yeah, Dominique Davis starting for the Red Blacks. He replaced Matt Nichols last week early in the second quarter against the Alouettes. That was a blowout loss for the Red Blacks. So let's see how they did against the Lions. First quarter already 7-zip BC. Michael Riley rolls to his right, then throws back to his left for Javon Catoy. He hauls it in and gets in the end zone for the touchdown. BC opens up an early double-digit lead, making it 14-0. Brian Burnham, no touchdowns since Week 1 against Saskatchewan, and we're still in the first. It's 14-7, Riley for Burnham in the end zone. Woo! Makes a beauty grab. Had a defender draped all over him. Burnham brings in the 39-yard strike. The second quarter, Lewis Ward attempting the field goal. He misses it. Lucky Whitehead back for the Lions. Here he goes.
Lucky Whitehead on the return. He has got some room. Richie Leone there again. Turns, tries to pick him up a little bit later. Lucky Whitehead is going to go
wild. Goes 119 yards for the touchdown. Makes it 28-7 Leos. Late in the half now. After the teams traded turnovers, Dominic Davis picked off by Bo Lacombo, who takes it back to the house for the pick six. All three phases of the Lions getting it done. Lacombo gets his second interception of the season. Lions up by 18 at the half. Third quarter, Lions keep on coming. Riley to Burnham. Look at these moves by Burnham to get into the end zone. His second touchdown of the game. Riley now has 4 passing touchdowns. All Leos in this one as they take it 45-13.
Opened up a running lane.
Riders and Bombers, and prior to kickoff, fans showing love to longtime SportsCenter anchor Darren Detition, who's battling cancer. That we're all thinking about you. We know you got this. Second quarter, Sean McGuire punches it in for his second rushing TD of the day. During the celebration, however, a massive brawl breaks out in the end zone, and white and blue bodies flying everywhere. After the dust settled, 6 major penalties issued, with 2 Rough Riders being ejected. Somehow, 2019 Grey Cup MVP Andrew Harris still in the game despite ripping off Christian Campbell's helmet. Bombers up 12-9 at the half. Meanwhile, third quarter, Cody Fajardo.
Pressure coming from Jefferson.
He's sacked for a huge loss by Willie Jefferson. The Riders QB slow to get up after hitting his head hard off the turf. Oof, never want to see that. He left under concussion protocol and did not return. Later in the quarter, McGuire with his third rushing TD of the day. Zach Collaros, however, not satisfied with the reaction from the home crowd following the milestone.
Offside, Saskatchewan.
I thought Canada was a hockey country. Like, how did everybody not throw their hats on the field for the hat trick?
Okay, there you have it.
Next time.
Meanwhile, Bombers up a big late in the fourth. Collaros airs it out to Kenny Lawler, who hauls it in for the touchdown. Winnipeg ripped Saskatchewan for the second time in as many weeks, taking the Banjo Bowl 33-9. Here's Collaros on the Bombers' defense.
We have a great defense, obviously. We feed off of them. They give us great field position oftentimes, and obviously when you're at home playing in front of these fans, there's a lot of positive energy that we can feed off of, so it was a great day.
We're a family. We play hard together. We play 3-phase football, offense, defense, special teams, and we feed off each other, especially when we're at home with the fans behind us and things like that, man. It's hard for us to come out and not give our fans what they want.
Last Monday, Trevor Harris and the Elks owned the Stampeders at McMahon Stadium in the Labor Day Classic. But the silver lining for the Stamps was that rookie quarterback Jake Maier made CFL history, becoming the first quarterback to throw for 300 yards in each of his first career starts. Now on Saturday, Maier would not get the chance to make it 4 games when the Stamps and Elks were back at it, this time in Edmonton. So who was starting for the Stamps? Bo Levi Mitchell, of course. He's back after missing 3 games with a fractured fibula. The Stampeders trying to avenge their Labor Day loss, as I mentioned, to the Elks. Mitchell looking a bit rusty early on. He almost gets picked off. Mitchell just 9 of 19 for 86 yards in the first half. Still before the break, the Stamps get called for a time count violation. Head coach Dave Dickinson frustrated, exchanges some words with Mitchell, and that body language not looking so good. The Stamps led 9-6 at the break. Meantime, Trevor Harris threw 4 touchdowns on Labor Day. The Elks driving in the third, and Harris gets picked off by Richard Leonard. Both quarterbacks struggling. The Elks down by 10 after 3. Now let's go back to Mitchell. The Stamps driving in the fourth.
And that's picked off. And this could go. Tremaine Washington is going to score. House call. Touchdown.
Ooh, Tremaine Washington with the 47-yard pick six. 2 minutes to play. Edmonton down by 6, driving for the lead, and Stephen Banks with one of his 4 sacks on the night. The Stamps sacked Harris 7 times. Let's go ahead now. Calgary up 2 scores with 20 seconds to go. They could just run out the clock, but they throw it down the field. Mitchell to Kamar Jordan for the touchdown. Bit of a curious call. Jordan rubs it in with the elk dance. Oh, yeah. Stamps take it, 32-16. Now here's Elks coach Jamie Elizondo on the late touchdown.
I think we all know that, when a game is in hand, so we'll remember that one.
Touchdown at the end. To be honest, John Huffnagel came into the press box. That was just tiebreaker. You guys needed the points.
No, I mean, we play him twice. I didn't think it probably was going to affect, whether we threw a pick or something because there was so little time. So I mean, it's football. Who knows if it'll even matter. It worked for us, but it was just one of those things. We talked about playing 60 minutes, and it was important still because we do only play these guys twice. They had a 12-point lead on us. We were up by 9. We took advantage of it.
So it's a shortened season in the CFL this year as we take a look at the standings. So it means every game is so vital. These are the West Division standings. The Lions improving to 3-2, tied with the Riders for second place, while the Bombers have the best record in the CFL. They're at 5-1. Now with more, let's go to Kate Burness and the panel.
And alongside David Sanchez, the coach Jim Barker, and Milt Stiegel as we wrap up week 6 in the CFL. And Ches, let's begin with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So they moved to 5-1 on the season. They sweep the home and home against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, which we explained a couple weeks ago would be critically important, maybe moving down the stretch with the abbreviated season. They really have established themselves at this point as the best team in the league, haven't they?
Absolutely. They're well-rounded. That's really what it is. It's always been about that Bomber defense in the last few years. But right now, in my opinion, they have the best quarterback in the Canadian Football League. He's playing the best. And I've been critical and I doubted Zach Collaros because of his injury history. And I really didn't think he could do it. I didn't think he'd come into the season and last. I thought they need to have a better backup plan. And I've been wrong. He's been outstanding. Today, 82% completion percentage, just two touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's been outstanding. Nick Dembski, I said this earlier. If I'm starting 5 wides and I'm drafting him, I might take Nick Dembski as number 1, and not because he's the best receiver in the league, but he's a guy that does everything for you in a 5-wide set in the CFL. He comes out the backfield, he blocks, he can run the rock, he's a great receiver. I really love what he does, and then obviously we know what their defense does.
It was a great day for the Bombers. There's no doubt about that. It was just a strange day for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, getting some players thrown out in a kind of a bizarre fight, having some players out. But probably the biggest play of the day came when Cameron Jefferson got beat by Willie Jefferson. And
where's George and Weezy?
And Cody Fajardo gets hit, and his head hits the turf hard. Now, fortunately, we're going to see him run off the field. He has a minor concussion. The problem with that is concussion protocols are going to make it difficult for him to practice. They have Toronto coming into town next week. Toronto's coming off of, a huge win over the Tiger Cats. They need time. They need time to get ready for them.
Right.
It's tough with concussion protocol.
It is. So they're banged up. And then speaking of injuries, Bo Levi Mitchell returns for the Calgary Stampeders. And Milt, in the first half of that game, you're kind of questioning maybe did you come back too early? Maybe Mayer should have still been in there. The second half, he seemed to settle in, not quite back to his normal self that we're used to, but a lot more productive for sure.
Yeah, and first and foremost, Bo would be like, I'm happy to get the victory. That's what he's there for, and that's what he's known for. But as you alluded to, Kate, that first half, we were like, hold on. Should Bo Levi Mitchell still be playing right now? Because he was struggling. He was missing throws, as I said, during the game that he makes in his sleep that we've seen him make for years. But we saw the interception for a touchdown. That was costly. But in that second half, they made some adjustments, and Bo Levi Mitchell started looking like somewhat of the Bo Levi Mitchell. Kamar Jordan, they got on the same page. They were making some big plays, and they were definitely happy with their performance. Think about in the first half, these Calgary Stampeders scored 9 points. In the second half, Bo Levi Mitchell helped them score 23 points. So that was definitely something positive. I think he still understands, and he'll probably be the first to tell you this, he knows he has to play better. If they want to be a championship team like they've been in the past, he has to play 10 times better than he knows
but
that
that's
very
a
much.
huge win for them today.
Oh, without a doubt.
Huge win.
Still an uphill climb at 2-4, and it doesn't get any easier. As up next for the Stamps is going to be the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
All right, yeah, week 7 in the CFL kicks off with a doubleheader on Friday Night Football. First up, as mentioned, Stamps and Ticats, followed by the Argos and Riders. Then another doubleheader on Saturday. The Lions will head east to Montreal while the Bombers clash with the Elks.